Hello, everyone. Welcome back to ESA Cup Season 5. We have another upper bracket round 2 match for you. Entropy versus Team Black. I'm Uncooked Pasta. I'm joined by Poobel, and we are just about to jump into the game already. We have no pre-match for you. We're just going straight in there with our first map, which Vola in the opening death. Not necessarily ideal, but you do have to give drops to the side of Team Black, especially Madarino, the way they are able to work those angles. So we head over to gym and bedroom. Another fight that is quite good for the defenders, maybe less so than you would say for the basement, but still definitely up there. I would say that CC and Bar have lower win rates for the defense. I don't think that's a too controversial of a statement. So, yeah, what's your take on this? You know, looking, we have that Solus again, Madarino again, bringing her along. Do you have Warden in the form of Tatters as well, and Mira? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
this is a very aggressive mirror window. I think I saw it on Wednesday's series. One team utilized this mirror window. The aim here is to not even give them Jacuzzi control, not even give them Jacuzzi platform. So it's a high risk play, and without any kind of wall denial, other than the mute, no kind of destructive wall denial such as a bandit or a card. It's a very high risk play, and it's intriguing to see how it will play out. We've seen this setup be insanely easy to clear, but we've seen other teams just be too afraid to even want to peek at this mirror window because of the threat that two open walls provides. But
absolutely,
it looks like Entropy are just, for the time being, moving elsewhere and getting other map control. And a very early engagement from Entry. Enti almost gets a pick onto Tatters. Tatters actually a little bit more healthy in that encounter. As I say that, taken down by Enti, and this is another early opening pick from Entropy.
Yeah, those vertical nades now going to start coming through, but there's no intel to guide them, which means they're not going to find their mark. Hassi also down below does have grenade in pocket as well. He's going to be watching this vertical angle, tries to find one, the glimpse and the glimmer, but nothing comes through on the other side of it. So another whiffed engagement, 100 seconds left as now the grenades start to come through. Kamikaze's going to hear that though, vertical nade, again, not finding its mark. Half the round has gone, and the breach starting to get opened up as well over on that Jacuzzi side. The pressure is gathering and building onto this bomb site, but Entropy just aren't quite, they're just not quite there. As I say that though, Exa does take down Legoman.
They get these two picks, but as you're saying, in terms of map control, they are still lacking. We've less than half the time left in this round, and these remaining defenders, albeit there's only 3 of them, they have these strong power positions. And Nitro Sings, it gets its mark, beautiful, and another. Oh, Cake just completely shuts down this attack. They still have this mirror window angle open, but now the defense can just hide. They have that man advantage, and with only 50 seconds left, this is looking like it's playing into the hands of Team Black.
Cake, though, is extremely low. There's actually only Madarino, the player, not damaged inside of the lobby. And Cake is just watching on this close angle into logistics. The pre-fire comes through, but can't collect. Cake with a triple on the round. Enti now 5 HP and a dream, and Cake shuts it down. 4 massive picks inside of round number 2 from the Team Black Mirror, and that is going to be the round shut out. A defensive, not quite a clutch, but they definitely brought that back. Is it 2 versus 4? 3 versus 4, something like that?
3 versus 5, I believe, because Entropy got those two. They got those 2 picks. But as you said, they didn't get the map control, and that mirror setup really helped them out because it lulled the attack into this false sense of security that they didn't need to open up that other wall, and that gave Cake free roam to Nitro out onto main stairs and get a second on main, while the player outside the breach could only see through that hole that the defense had made.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate the mirror being used to great effect, especially with the pressure, like you mentioned in the round, the pressure that it sort of provides and the worry it puts in the mind of the attack. It's certainly quite a useful tool, even if there's no one playing behind it. Obviously there was, and Cake was able to get some hits from it as well, but that's kind of a bonus at that point.
Yeah, it hinders the map control from the attack. It slows it down, and that's twice now we've seen the attack get a lot of map control outside, but when it comes to the site itself, Entropy they can't dislodge these defenders from these powerful positions, and it's cost them 2 rounds that, on paper, on the first minute or so, they should have won.
Yeah, they've been starting the rounds out really, really well, just not quite able to get that conversion into the round win. So coming into the tertiary bomb site now, CCTV cache, this is going to be the place where you sort of favor Entropy a bit. You say, you know, out of all of them, this is going to be where they're more likely to win. Lego Man, though, does not want that to happen, takes down Massey as the opener. And that's now another unanswered opening pick that we've seen these teams get. This time, though, it is for the side of the defense, Team Black. And Mourinho nearly gets the angle onto the feet hold, but Exa gets out of dodge just in time.
I thought we were going for a Maverick trick, but I think they're just opening lines of sight for that repel player. It's interesting. It seems like we're not seeing Maverick in the current meta, and Kamikaze goes for it. He gets the kill. We see the Solace gadget being used to perfectly shows off the power of that gadget right there. He sees the Claymore, he shoots it first, and he has free reign on that run out. Beautiful kill from Kamikaze, and now
all the IQ scanner as well.
Yeah, we're just this attack that we said would really favor Entropy is just falling apart at the seams.
Absolutely. Entropy just not able to combat against the aggressive plays that we're seeing, the really quite brilliant aggressive plays that we're seeing from Team Black. They're just mastering the aggression perfectly, and Entropy just unable to deliver against it. We now see a completely different change of angle. The construction wall being opened up, Impact Grenade 2 come through, means that the breach is slightly less open than it could be. 2 players on that top red mirror window as well, and then be making it really difficult for this attention to actually be complete. The Toxic Babe goes somewhere. Not entirely sure where that was up to, but with only 40 seconds, Entropy just being stalled out once again. Enti does put a little bit of pressure onto the alibi that came through the rotate hole. And we do have one player down below, that's Exa, but taken out by Kamikaze, which means that it's now just pure chaos. Koala going down as well. It could be a flawless no. Enti denies it. With no diffuser in hand, can't even get through the rotate. Caught in the reload. Lego Man shuts it down. And that is going to be Team Black with their 3 rounds on the board. And Entropy's map pick of Clubhouse seems to be pulling away from them quickly.
We said at the start, Team Black, not a fan of losing rounds. Only 9 rounds lost this entire season. And they look like they don't want that number to increase anymore. 3 in a row on this defense, even winning CC. And I think the real problem with that round on Entropy is, sure, they open up those lines of sight onto CC with the Maverick, and that's great for dislodging any defenders playing kind of aggressive angles. But we can't, the attackers can't get through that hole. They don't make no larger attempt at a breach. And even if they did, it could just be impact tricked out. So suddenly Entropy are left sort of scrambling to get through another way into sight. They choose construction wall, but without any kind of aggressive pressure coming through into CC, the defense have free reign to just sit on top red. We saw 2 people on that top red mirror window, sit in cash, even sit in CC when they realize the full rotation has come through, and they just get these free picks, they get these crossfires, and the attack can't even get into the site by the end of the round.
Well, hopefully improvement from Entropy. We're going to see them change up their tactic. They bring it along a Monty, which immediately screams to me a dirt push, right? That's the classic area that you would see a Montaigne being brought along. And you do have Cake with the Kaid aggressing up into the dirt tunnel. And I don't even know if it's reinforced off. They've used all of the reinforcement, so I would assume that it is. Enti, though, is going to be necessary regardless, because you do only have those impact TMPs on the Monty, no hard breach charges there. You don't necessarily want to use your ace charges either. Kamikaze tries to go for the aggressive peak, but Exa shuts it down, and that's going to mean that we start off again with Entropy finding the opener, but this has happened before, Joe. Oh, Mourinho as well. The aggression this round not working out for Team Black.
Yeah, and it's not even a result of that Monty. It's just they're finally reading into this aggression. So it's great from Entropy to realize that, okay, they're swinging these angles they don't need to swing. Let's capitalize on that. Let's punish them. So So we're seeing this Monty pick that we thought was going to be the sort of linchpin of the round, but in reality, it's just these guns from the other players of Entropy winning these fights, and they've put themselves in a good position. But as you said, an aggressive Nitro from Cake there nearly loses life for it. But as we said, Entropy, they've been in these situations before, these 5v3 advantages with more than half the round remaining, yet they still lost them. That being said, they've got these hatches open. They can make attempts to dislodge these defenders, and that's what this Monty's going to attempt to do.
Yeah. This is also just going to be a great distraction because you now force the ice over, and that means Cake's going to get caught out. Exactly what we said would happen. Just looks away, tries to combat the Monty, and gets picked apart from the vertical. Enty as well finds Tatters and Lego Man left in the 1 versus 4. Can't even get the first. Hassi shuts it down for the first round of Entropy on the board. And, well, it's an improvement. They used the Montaigne to great effect. They got everything done they needed to do, and this time they didn't stall out in the mid-round.
Yeah, they've read into the playstyle of Black perfectly in that round. As I said, they respond to these spawn peaks with these kills, and it gets them onto such a crucial advantage early on. That Solace being gone is just a wealth of information that the defense can no longer utilize. So it was just a very good pick from Entropy, and they're going to see if they can make Lightning Strike twice, bringing the Monty again, this time onto a gym and bedroom defense. I don't think the Monty necessarily is as useful here.
Yeah, they switched off immediately.
Yeah, switching onto that Thatcher, they were just hoping that they would that the side of Team Black would try and defend that basement again. The Thatcher and the Ace here will need to see if they have learned from that previous setup, if they maybe go for a breach that gives them a full line of sight onto top main so that Kate can't get away with another hero play. But even then, that round that they did end up losing attacking here, they looked pretty good early on as well. They were getting picks, they were getting control. It was just the heroics and Cake that ruined it for them. So this all hope is by no means lost for these Entropy attacks.
You can't rely on the hero plays, and that's the thing. They are going for a very similar setup though, Team Black, hoping that they can just get it through again. Now, I personally would like to see a Thermite here from the side of Entropy instead of an Ace. That's just sort of personal preference, or maybe bring in a Thermite as well as an Ace, just to try and clear the mirror window as well with the Salma charges. But I mean,
I can see why they don't bring one, because
yeah,
if they have that same setup, the Thermite is in such a risky position breaching that wall. But
yeah,
there have been times during this match even where I think a Thermite would have been useful, like CC defense. Thermite massively puts it in favor of the attack if you get that breach open. But we're going to be seeing potentially an early gunfight from Enty. He hits Tatters. Tatters learning from the previous time he was here, gets out quickly, wants to save that gadget for the remainder of the round for the execute especially. And just like that, we're back to silence once again. Yeah, they've read into the playstyle of Black perfectly.
Yeah, it's just taken a bit longer for this opening engagement to come through. But it seems like I've just cursed it, because EXA taken out Tatters. Again, you said they wanted to save that utility for the later point in the round, but not going to have that opportunity. Madarino just shows the elbow to Koala, and he's going to get taken down. Does have the opportunity to be revived, however, in this position. I don't think
the Monty necessarily is useful here.
Yeah, the Whammy Magnet going to catch out the Selma. Kill confirmed, though, by EXA. That means Koala is now onto the scoreboard as well. But Lego Man takes the aggressive swing. Koala finds a double. The nades for Cake as well, meaning he cannot get anywhere close, and they are just circling the bomb site now. Cake can't find the window player. It's now Kamikaze left in a 1 versus 5. Only finds one as EXA with a second in the round as well. Entropy, they're starting to build up speed now. And it's starting to look scary for Black.
It's this aggression once again. Black, they choose to double down on it. And Entropy are saying, okay, we'll get those free picks at the start. Walden roaming below. I assume it was a pinch because he went to the opposite side of the map from that Nook. It was shut down by the Thatcher. So a great pinch from Entropy, taking out such a key part of that defense so early on. And then the kills just keep on coming. The swings keep on coming from the side of Black. You have that top main player swinging the breach, shut down. Players swinging the breach again to try and get that man advantage closer in favor of the defense. Gets shut down, and it just spirals. It's this snowball effect that just leaves Kamikaze in a 1v5. Stuck in Logi on his own. So it's a great adaptation of Entropy, and for a match that looked so rough for them to begin with, it's a good sign that they've figured out Black's game plan, and they're playing against it well.
Yeah, Team Black though, gonna go back to that gym bedroom. This time they're doing a different setup. They've fully reinforced off that jacuzzi breach. Still no thermite being brought along. Instead, actually switched off. No ESA either, so it seems like they were expecting that CC attack just based on those original picks, but it's not to be. They're going to reset to something similar we saw from that round number 5. And what is this from Madarino? Through the dirt tunnel, possibly going to try and get that very infamous punch hole that leads down to the jacuzzi breach.
Just
But
going
look at
for it.
Enti. The barbed wire does make a noise, but Cake doesn't realize that's the opener. Enti can just dip away from there now, and that's chaos.
That's beautiful restraint from Anti. Just getting that one pick, not overstepping. He gets back. He realizes he still has those nades in pocket. You can get potentially 2 kills, but a lot of utility, a lot of information through those 2 nades. And he retreats back. A beautiful opening pick.
Do they know?
Beautiful response from Enti after getting that. But as you said, Madrino, he's come back from that quite aggressive basement flank roam. He's coming up those main stairs. Information here is going to be critical for the side of Entropy, because if he goes unspotted, he could play spoiler for this entire round.
Yeah, absolutely. And he does find one, tries to find the flick onto the second. That looks like it connected, but ESA denies it. I thought that was a double there, but no. Tatters, however, equalizes on the other side, takes an aggressive swing onto the breach over by construction. Now, the Uzi opened up by Entropy, but in a 3 versus 3, this has suddenly got a lot worse for them in this situation. 80 seconds left on the clock. Oh, man. Oh, no.
It's just it's such a poor... It's a poor situation for these defenders. That being said, Legoman tries, but the trades are coming in. It's a 1v1 Kamikaze versus ESA. ESA, currently in the shower, has case in hand. He can try and bait out a plant. 7 seconds for this plant to go down. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the case is down, but Kamikaze whiffs the shots on what could have been the freest kill of this entire series. And he pays for it with his life. ESA,
Panic knife as well.
Beautiful response. And 3-3 half. It certainly didn't look like it was going that way in that first half, but Entropy respond well.
Yeah, you know how they say Siege is a game of 2 halves? It almost feels like it's a game of 4 quarters at this point. Like, what a turnaround from Entropy. And I think the story of that round is just some slightly whiffed shots. I know it pains me to say, but you had Madarino on that bottom floor staircase, and then you had an SMG-11 spray right at the end. It's an unfortunate situation, but even still, Entropy do well to fight back, and well, they've got 3 rounds in a row now, and they're looking to make it 4 as they head down to the defense. We've had the side swap. We're going to the basement, unsurprisingly.
And this is a quite unorthodox lineup from the side of Entropy here. They're clearly going for a time-wasting sort of setup. You have those castle barricades. Castle barricades here are mainly going to be shielding the defense when they're rotating back to site. These reinforcements as well show that they're really going for this extended roam. You've even got a Doc showing up. Like,
they've opened up Moto as well.
Doc is certainly in a better position than he used to be. Yeah, all these avenues for the defense to escape, but if this is read into probably by Team Black, they could just go for a straight side push. That being said, they're going to want to play it safe, go for this roam clear from the looks of things. They've got this Nook on side. They've got this IQ as well. Big counter to that Vigil, so Hasty is going to have to be careful in that position with his gadget.
Yeah, one drone does spot him out on the rafters. Does activate that gadget now. The IQ, though, will be aware of the position, just depending on where Tatters is playing. Not entirely too sure. Actually, Tatters out on the balcony, so bit of a distance away from the Vigil. You can see that static coming through. They ping out where they think he might be, but he's not. He's over on the other side. So gunshots come through from the CCTV window. and construction. This is really good time wasting from Entropy. They have 3 players in this top right position, Joe.
Now for Entropy. They get that first pick beautiful onto Tatters, but now survival is sort of the name of the game. If they can get back. That being said, Hasty he goes down swinging. He gets another one, and he's still in this position, wasting time. Finally a response. Madrino onto Exy, but so much time and utility has been wasted. That being said, the losses continue. Madrino goes down. There is a trade, but I mean, I was going to say a lot of time's been wasted, but we've still got a whole 90 seconds remaining. The attack surprisingly swift, and the fadeaway onto Enti by Kamikaze. This defense now looking quite rocky. Not the best. They get these early picks, but they don't get away in time. And not enough time has been wasted, in my opinion, because Team Black, they've suddenly pushed them all the way back to site. With that 60 seconds left, that you have all of these angles, all this ground that you would expect to have in this time in a regular round. So perhaps this aggression from Entropy has been misplaced, has been mistimed, when they could instead play their lives, get back to site, or at least retreat, and still be a nuisance to this attack.
Yeah, however, I think it's more of just unfortunate circumstance of who got killed, because if the bot goes down instead of, say, the Ashe, then you actually kind of favor Entropy in this position. However, Koala, an aggressive angle, spots take as well, and Kamikaze can't progress through the dirt because of those Vulcan canisters, which means that's 20 seconds burning. I think he destroyed it about 22, so he's only going to have 2 seconds left to go onto the bomb site. Solo HP that he can't push through the flames himself. Koala takes a swing because he knows that it's futile. Now the entrance can come through, and there's just no time. The MP5 makes it work, and Entropy, they find 4 in a row here on their map pick. And it's starting... It's not starting to look dire, but...
Yeah.
It's going to get to a point where questions are being raised, right?
Yeah, and Team Black's such a dominant team in that group stage that to sort of... for all I know, this might be the first time they've ever been losing a map. Currently down 4-3. So we'll have to see how they respond to this, because a problem you see with a lot of these flawless teams is that they don't know how to respond when they're losing, and that can get in their heads, that can mess with their mental. That being said, it was a good attack from Team Black. They respond to these early picks, and part of that is due to timing, as like the Doc was clearly going back to site, but it was a beautiful kill on that book, shutting him down before he can get there. So once again, we're seeing these attacking sides playing well into the aggression from the defense. But at the end of the day, that utility and that time wasted just caught up to them. You know, they got the damage. The damage on the book was key there because he can't push with that Goyo canister in the way. So ultimately, the site setup works out. It was a lot closer than I think it had any right being. You know, Entropy could have very easily lost that round, especially if Koala doesn't get that kill onto the player on the hatch. But it all works out well in the end, and it leaves Entropy 1 round ahead.
Yeah, apologies for that little pause. We just had a bit of an issue to sort out with the hand cams, but everything's all sorted now, so we are going to get back into the game, get back over to the second Entropy defense, this time over on Gym and Bedroom. We're seeing a similar sort of thing to round number 6, Entropy's last attempt at this bomb site. Instead, though, there is one thing I want to point out, which is Yuki playing the Echo. Going to be useful for that plant denial. Obviously, this is kind of a bomb site that there's not really many places to hide a plant. And teams will often only go for a plant if they know the entire site, and even logistics is clear. So
the Echo can provide a lot of...
for intel than actual plant denial, because I mean, it's just looking at the way teams usually attack onto this site, it's kind of unlikely that there will even be chance to deny it unless they try to go for a very, very sneaky gym plant. That's the only way I see that working out.
And that might be the case. We're seeing that Thermite that you've been sort of harping on about, and he's bringing the smokes, so that immediately suggests, okay, they're going to want to cover that plant with the smoke grenade. So we could be seeing Echo really be useful here to stop that early plant, maybe, if they are going for this quite sneaky plant with the thermite. We're seeing those bandit batteries getting cleared. At least one of them doesn't like a trick is being attempted. There's no cover for Xe to try that, so he's just playing safe, playing behind that mirror window, and that mirror window is still a very good position. He can now safely trick this wall, this single wall. He's got another bandit battery in pocket. That being said, Yuki shuts down Lego Man early. That's the buck player. That's your vertical player from below, and that gives the defense a lot more freedom in this round.
Yeah, absolutely. The Echo risking their life to try and find that pick, but it does work out. So now we did see one Dokkaebi call come through that denies the visual on the cameras for just a second. Obviously, could be imperative if we do try and see some sort of plant come through. And look at this Echo drone. Look at this Yokai. Just being able to spot out all of the players. They know what kind of setup they're going for. They're all on this sort of southwestern side, looking over towards Jacuzzi, looking over towards that balcony as well on the south. And it's going to lead to Mads getting taken down. Koala finds that pick from CCTV. The second ball comes through, which is just going to stop the defenders for a little bit, give a little bit of information over to the attack, and Tatters finds the first, taken down to about 10 HP themselves, though, which means it's still an advantageous situation for Entropy. As I say that, Kamikaze finds one, gets taken down very low, still trying to deal with Koala inside of Cash. And there is the timeout coming through. Team Black, they want to have a talk after this one, especially as Koala finds the down. Not going to be able to confirm, which means Cake should be able to find the revive. But you've got Kamikaze very low. Tatters, about half of that. And two full health defenders standing in the way. Tatters not able to find that one as Exa finds one as well. Exa shuts it down with 2 in the final moments. And Entropy up to 5. And Team Black, they will be having that timeout come through. Want to have a chat, slow things down, because it has been 5 in a row.
Yeah, that momentum that Entropy are no doubt building by now. It's going to be difficult for Team Black to come back from this. They want to use this timeout to sort of stunt that pace from Entropy. And it's still very doable because these Team Black attacks, they always start out quite shaky with Entropy getting first, maybe second pick as well. But Team Black are always finding ways to even out that man count. They even were ahead 3-2 this round. But then Entropy just closed out in the last minutes. And maybe that, well, seconds even, not minutes. Maybe that Team Black are using this timeout to figure out, okay, how do we fully convert these rounds that should probably be going in our favor? That 3v2 especially should probably be going in our favor. And at the same time, Entropy, hopefully, using these timeouts to think, okay, how do we play this man advantage properly? How do we not sacrifice these picks uncontested in the last minute? Because that has consistently happened in these 2 rounds.
For sure.
And it has led to these nearly being 2 Team Black wins on the attack. And that's not something you want on a map like Clubhouse. Sure, it favors a 50-50 roughly. But defense is always slightly favored in Siege. Because simple fact of they have to come to you.
I'm just doing a quick run of the numbers, just to see. And in fact, Clubhouse, it is about 50-50, you know. Only 5 rounds between it. So it's about 52% defensive win rate. So through the 16 plays of Clubhouse, we're seeing about 50% of the rounds go towards the attack, 52 the defense. So having that 3-3 half in the first one, a 3-3 split in the first half, aligns with that. But the manner that it happened,
yeah, 3 in a row is...
Siege is a mental game as much as it is a physical game.
Absolutely. Winning is a trend at the end of the day.
For sure.
The more you win, the more you're probably going to win. It's just... Winning 3 rounds in a row like that is going to prop you up mentally. It's going to make you more confident on your defenses, which I would say is the more comfortable side. So it allows Entropy to find these early picks well, and it allows them to do these strats that maybe they wouldn't be wanting to do otherwise. So Echo, for example, takes a whole gun off the board for your team, but you get that intel. And speaking of guns, the gun of Xe strikes down Tatters. That's the nut gun again. This early aggression from Team Black just being answered perfectly by Entropy. No more nades from the side of Nook. They've still got Sledge, but it's a big pick early on.
Yeah. C4 from Hatchie as well. Not going to find one. And Team Black now gearing up over towards construction. Kamikaze is still on the breach as Exa goes for the swing. 11 kills. Is going to be feeling himself, but yeah, just makes a smart decision to stick away. Kamikaze can't really get any damage done to you if you just don't swing the breach, because that's really the only angle that they're going to be watching. And with the diffuser and everyone else over towards construction, you don't even really need to worry about that CCTV side.
Ooh.
Koala with a swing finds a double. That's 3 on the round, and now Kamikaze, just the last one left on the breach. It's flawless from Yuki, and Entropy make it count. 6 rounds to 3. They're on map point. It's their own map pick, and they could be on the verge for 7 in a row.
It's not looking good for Team Black, and it's a similar story to Misclick on Wednesday. The strong team, the team that went flawless in groups, that should by all means be favored, is losing. They're being beaten in a very dominant fashion. It's not a close map, and it's very good from Entropy that they've had this insane turnaround, 6 rounds in a row. But you've got to start kind of pointing fingers at Team Black here for this aggression that it just isn't working, but they're sticking with it. They're sticking with these early pushes with the Nook, getting shut down. There's much more utility to Nook than just like a fast push. The gadget can work with that, but you still have those 2 nades, and nades now more than ever with the yellow pings from the drones. Nades are just so useful. You can get so many uncontested picks through vertical holes with those nades. So if your Nook's dying that early with no utility used at all, it's not a good look for the side of Team Black, and it hasn't worked. Consistently hasn't worked. 3 rounds in a row now, but they're still picking it. They're not learning from their defeat, and that might kind of go with the fact that they haven't been beaten. They have never faced defeat in this season before. So maybe they've just got too comfortable with these strats that they're tried and tested, have worked every time. So
yeah, and let's say
now
as well, Entropy, they've already won a best of 3 inside of Season 5, obviously. With coming into this as a top seed of your group, you get that first round bye, but that means that you don't necessarily have the best of 3 practice inside of the league.
I don't want to sound too pessimistic here, but for Team Black, maybe you just want to focus on how you win that next map. Make sure this defeat doesn't snowball into a series that has just fallen out of your hands completely. Obviously, 6-3 is a winnable scoreline, and with the way that Team Black have played through that group stage, 3 rounds in a row it's by all means doable. But you don't want to lose this map 7-3 and then go on to lose that next map in an even more sort of tragic fashion.
Yeah, and for Team Black, a team in this season hasn't ever won 4 rounds before. That's a beautiful pick from Exa. Enti as well on the top floor. Takes down Lego Man. And it is just that snowball. It's more of an avalanche at this point. Because that's already 2 picks immediately going down. Half the round is gone. And they're still trying to clear this top floor. This is catastrophic from Team Black. And I know that we've been harped on for being too negative, but in this round specifically, this is just an absolute failure. They know of the positions as well. Hatsi is going to find a drop. Enti as well. It's double kills all around. And Cake's left in a 1 versus 5. And a quick test of the crouch key.
That's just cruel. That's cruel.
Cake
Stop that.
1. He's down to 2nd as well. This could be doable. But no, Hassie knocks it down.
That's cruel! Stop teabagging, Hassie!
He's just testing the crouch button.
Either way, bad manners or not, a dominant victory from Entropy in that first map. They've slayed the beast once. They've only got to do it one more time today to get through to that next round of that upper bracket. And in doing so, they'll send Team Black to the lower bracket. But there's still 2 maps at most to play for. That Team Black going to have to win these next 2 maps. It's certainly doable. The maps are favorable towards them, as we went over earlier. They were the only maps that Entropy lost, I believe, in the groups.
Well, Clubhouse and Cafe were.
Club and Cafe. So they've won Clubhouse. Cafe, though, looked shaky on it in groups.
Yeah.
Maybe Team Black can take advantage of this. There's still again, at least 2 more maps, a whole series to play still.
And there's still a whole series to play, indeed. We do have Oregon coming up, but I mean, you do have to just say it, Clubhouse, what a win for the side of Entropy. And they're really going to be looking to keep that momentum going. They already won their first best of 3, and looking at that, 7-2, 7-3. Guess what those maps were, Joe? Clubhouse and Oregon.
Oh, no.
Entropy, they might just make it to the upper bracket semi-finals. We'll find out in just a few. We do have a quick break for you, and then we'll be hopping into Oregon. It's not goodbye forever. Welcome back. We are here for map number 2, which will be Oregon, and we are able to just have a little bit of time to breathe before going into the map this time. So let's have a look at the prediction, I believe. We want to see what you guys thought at home before the entire series, of course. And it was, drum roll, 53% for Entropy. So that's
I was
kind
getting
of
ready to laugh
surprise.
at everyone. I was
Yeah,
hoping everyone would pick Team Black and we can laugh at them.
So was
But
I.
unfortunately, they seem to be quite the little prophets here. They just know that Entropy is winning these. I mean, Season 4 champions, you're gonna be hard. It's hard to bet against people who've been proven in tournaments, but still flawless record in groups, and that's only with like 2 forfeit wins. You'd kind of sort of weigh Team Black more heavily here, but you guys know better than we did.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the matches we've seen so far, we've only seen 2 full best of 3s for the upper bracket quarterfinals, but of those, we've only seen one of the teams actually got a buy-in, actually win that series, and that's a Minions team that many people are saying are going to win the entire tournament. So, you got to say it looks interesting, looks a bit spicy up at the top of things. Obviously, next week we'll be delving into the depths of the lower bracket a bit more, and then you have got to point it out. Minions Molotov Gang Germany is the first up bracket semi-final, and then Entropy Gaming or Team Black playing Villains or E-Way. Villains, another team that went flawless in their group, and actually every team that won their group didn't lose a game, and the only team that went to overtime was Minions, and well, they've won. So every series, every one of these matches is going to be the same sort of story. It's a team that went flawless versus a team that didn't. That being said, it doesn't necessarily look like it can pan out that way. I mean, Misclick lost their game. Team Black are already 1 map behind.
Yeah, we're seeing these titans of the group stage really meeting their makers in this upper bracket. Team Black, they're on the ropes here. Still doable, but they're against an Entropy team that won 7 rounds in a row. So we'll see. And we're on the ban phase. Black with this Yana ban. The same ban we saw last time, but I believe from a different team. So they don't like playing.
It's the same one.
Is it? So,
again, Entropy banning out the Yana. I wonder if they'll ban out Mozzie again. This time, Knock instead of the Jackal from the side of Team Black.
Oh, the UI is there we go. Again, production were sabotaging me there.
Yeah.
But so they've clearly read into Black liking this Yana, and we may as well see that Mozzie being banned as well. So it shows a good deal of counter-strutting, a lot of preparation for this match, which you like to see. You like to see Siege being played in a very like tactical, strategic way because it is an FPS. But what makes it so unique and what's kept this game thriving for so long is the way you can strategize, the different counter picks you can do.
This time Solus, not
Solus.
Mozzie, but again, P90 very, very strong. And, you know, after seeing that first map, it makes a lot more sense why we're seeing Yana banned out. The aggression always coming through from Team Black, you know, swinging pretty much anything that makes a sound. Banning away Yana makes doubly sense there. You have either a G36 or ARX, brilliant guns, and you have nades as well, and it just really feeds into that aggressive playstyle that Team Black like to bring along, and it means they're bringing along an Ashe instead, where, you know, Ashe, what kind of utility does she really necessarily bring? Like, especially considering the secondary gadgets, a Claymore or a soft breach charge?
Yeah, Ashe used to be incredibly good at burning ADSs when she had those flashbangs. She is now primarily just for that destruction, whether it be destruction of walls, floors, or gadgets. But removing those two operators, those two entry operators with the nades, the Yana and the Knock, it does force Team Black especially, because they have been this aggressive team, but both teams, in reality, it forces both these teams to be more conservative with their operators. They have to sort of play them more carefully. That being said, we're not even seeing the Ashe in play. We're seeing Legoman swap to the Ace, and this might be the first sort of more passive, more structured Team Black round we see. They're opting out of these fast, aggressive operators. They have the Jackal played this time, however. Not
they are straight in small tower though.
Yeah,
straight
maybe
in.
they like these operators, but they're still going to play very fast, very aggressive. That being said, Entropy picked up on this very early last round, and they punished them 7 rounds in a row. That aggression was punished. So
yeah,
it's slightly concerning that Team Black are just going straight back to these old, tried and untested ways. This method did work well for them in groups, but you've got to think there needs to be some kind of adaptation here from Team Black, or else they will just lose this map. They will just lose this map.
Yeah.
They're losing these gunfights. So that aggression can't be relied on.
Yeah, and Entropy have historically been a very strat-focused team. So to see these two sort of play styles come up against each other is interesting. It is something to watch as the Thatcher comes through. Enti is still on these stairs, has a shotgun in hand. Drone spots him out, but he's still playing this aggressive position. However, now the hatch is opened up, is kind of cut off from the rest of the team, although a lot of the attackers rotate over to that E-box hatch inside of meeting. So pressure alleviated for now. It's just mad inside of security.
And Enti just has to waste time on those stairs.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that in reality 4 attackers are bunched up on that E-box hatch. As far as he knows, they could be going for this freezer push, so he needs to just stay close on those stairs, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to play his life there, with that hatch being open.
Yuki as well.
Yeah, with that hatch being open, he probably realizes he will not survive this round, but he can still waste time, potentially take one down with him. So we're seeing once again Entropy working towards slowing down these attacks with these more aggressive positions. Koala, speaking of aggression, he wants to swing that bunker door, thinks against it at the very last minute. Instead, in comes the smoke of Exy, gets a pick onto Kamikaze, who swings around, gets another pick onto E-box, and these Team Black attackers are just dropping like flies right now. 30 seconds left on the round. 2 versus 5. Talis has to drop, dies in E-box. 1 versus 5 for Cake. He takes one down with him, but cannot get the second. Very quick turn of events in that last 40 seconds, Uncut.
Yeah, absolutely. And very well played by Entropy, you know, especially looking at Exter.
They will just lose this map. They will just lose this map. They're losing these gunfights. That aggression can't be relied on.
That play on the blue bunker door, now that I have my words in order. Yeah, that play on the blue bunker door is very impressive. Just sort of baits out the swing, and while he knows that he's going to go for that reload after the spray, that's the exact time to swing, and then finds a second into E-box as well. Perfectly played, and I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, Joe.
Well, there's a whole rainbow of operators there, but Tachanka, I'm guessing, is
hell
pointing
yeah.
out. Newly buffed operator. He's been on this sort of almost this slide of buffs. They just keep making him better. As far as we know, could be a complete sleeper pick. No one has realized the true potential of the operator. He's got that 2x scope on the 9x19 by now.
Yeah.
He also had a slight rework on his Molotov canisters. I believe it's 5 in the magazine now. He has 25 in total.
20.
So it's slightly less time reloading to get a full mag. He is using the 9x19, choosing to forego his signature LMG. As fun as a weapon as it is, yeah, it doesn't really stack up anymore, especially with the 2x. He's going for the spawn peak, but no one shows themselves. So now we really have to rely on his utility being up to scratch, because they've sacrificed a smoke for this Tachanka. He hasn't got a spawn peak, so the 2x buff. Oh no, he's been downed. In the first 30 seconds, he loses more than 80% of his health, and on the other side, the map Azami taken down early as well. So these sort of execute-focused operators, the Azami who gains more barriers throughout the round, and Tachanka who should really be using those Molotovs in that last minute, are meeting a lot of resistance early on.
9x19, just not the weapon for it seems. As we see two gunfights not go the way. I was going to comment on the very early aggression into Big Tower. And it seems like maybe Hassi was not going to be ready for it either, as Koala is watching over onto these stairs. The impact does come through, and Koala takes a swing at just the wrong time. Possibly would have caught Cake out, but that's not going to be the case. Tatters with a nade takes down Hassi, and that's your plant denial completely gone now. There is one C4 that NT has on side, but it's not really going to be enough. It doesn't really deny enough time either. You do have the Vulcan canisters, but with how quickly Team Black have been able to collapse onto the bomb site, it just doesn't even seem like that's going to be useful, especially now that Tatters crosses one. Koala does not find the down. That is actually on the other side. 2 picks come the other way. The FO12 of Yuki, which we didn't even comment on, does find one, but that's all it will be, because Team Black just come through with the final 2 picks. Lego Man closes things out. We're seeing it equaled out 1-1.
And finally, the guns from Team Black are hitting their marks. First time in around 8 rounds now that we've seen this dominant sort of Team Black victory. As you said, quick push. They got that. That was just a swift attack. They got that early pick on the Azami. Great first blood from them. They take out probably one of the strongest operators in the meta right now. And they just keep the pace going. They don't lose any men either. They don't need to go for trades because they're just winning their gunfights. Finally, it's something we've been wanting to see throughout this match, and let's hope it continues, because they had a rough go of it in Clubhouse. They were just losing these opening duels. Now not the case.
Yeah. And it was that very quick pressure into Big Tower that kind of got them the win. This time we're seeing Hassi playing around that sort of area. Going to try and make sure that doesn't happen again. And bringing the visual this time, so there's actually no plant or even time denial, really. Instead, they're really focusing on that information denial. You have the vigil on side. You also have a Mozzie. You also have a mute. And with Jaeger and Wamai as well being brought along by Koala and Enti, that's also a lot of utility that's going to be denied out as well. So
yeah, this defensive lineup really is heavily focused on denying utility rather than actual bodies.
Yeah,
which might seem inappropriate for these attacks, as Team Black, as you said, very quick on these attacks. They're getting their bodies in early. They're getting these very early engagements. What does a mute and a Mozzie really add to that defense when Team Black aren't even relying on these drones, really? They're just relying on these gunfights, and this gun skill seemingly has improved since that first map. So suddenly you're dealing with nothing that can actually stop these attackers from getting in once they get this kind of ingress.
Yeah, Mad is going to know that the Vigil is around here. Exa finds the first as Hassi goes for the swing, gets drowned out though, and does dip away. The mute is here, ready and waiting to go for the swing. SMG-11 in hand. Mute Jammer is going to deny the drones on that position. Now, are they going to know? He's opened it up, but he can't find the angle. Yuki whiffs it, and it's completely biffed. The swings, though, from the other side also don't connect. Yuki drop down into meeting. Could potentially...
Oh, I do believe a good uncooked has disconnected, so I'll be taking over from here. We're seeing 3 versus 4. The defensive setup not really working out as anticipated. You lose that Jaeger, you lose that Vigil, and Ace still has freedom to breach open these walls. An impact trick is attempted, but fails. So now we have 2 angles pressuring down these defense. There's no Nitro on side for any of the defense. There's none of this denial we were talking about before. It's all going to be down to gunfights from here on out. And that being said, NT picks up 1. Tatters goes down. Legoman falls to Xe, and suddenly it's swayed back in the favor of the defense. Cake and Madrino in a 2 versus 3. A beautiful flick from Cake onto Xe. No right winning that fight, but he still gets away with it. Madrino and Cake now in a 2v1. NT, however, evens it up to a 1 versus 1. It's a duel on sight, and Cake wins it. It was a shaky round for both sides, I think many people would say. The defensive setup, maybe not up to scratch, not effective at dealing with that attack, but at the same time, they nearly win it off of gunfights. So, once again, we're seeing the gun skill of Team Black really improve since that last round. It's hopeful, it's promising. At this rate, we should probably be seeing a map 3 because this aggression is finally working out, and they'll double down on it. They're bringing the blitz. They're reading into a basement defense. I'd imagine if it wasn't a basement defense, the blitz would be quickly swapped off of, but we should see a very fast execute onto the bunker. The basement defense is exactly what we're seeing here. Smoke, Mute, Kayed, all very sort of delay-focused operators. The Mute going to be blocking that intel, as he was last round. Kayed for the hatches. Wamai and Azami being brought as well, so there's a lot of rechargeable utility here. You would not want to see these operators go down early. On the opposite side, we have that hard breach for Cake. He can get all of the hatches onto site. Hibana, the most versatile hard breach in the game, I think many people would argue. You get at least 4 sets of 4. You can destroy 4 hatches, more than any other hard breach in the game. The Thatcher as well can help disable those cards. So this is looking like 2 very strong setups from either side, and it will likely be won off of gunfights once again. We're seeing the Mute quite aggressive up on Big Tower. As I say that, retreats down, maybe just setting up lines of sight for a Roma, but that being said, all the defense are bunkered down. They're going to hope that the attack don't read into this, that they try and go for a roam clear, except they'll just be chasing shadows. There's no one for them to fight up here. That being said, Legoman, he doesn't seem so sure of that. He is going for this clear up above. He's trying his best to find a pick, but there's just no one to be found. Their time is still being wasted despite this bunker defense. Empty in this aggressive position once again. But it's working out. It's wasting time. Sledge, again, up above. They don't know that it's clear. They're playing this very cautiously. Tatters and Legoman both paying attention up here. They don't want to get caught with their pants down, but there is just no one here. And finally, some aggression is reached. NT goes up those white stairs. He eats some damage, but time has been wasted. He has that the Nitro is whiffed, however. That was potentially Team Black's opportunity to strike there. Madrino eats a bit of damage, and it turns out the Blitz is going for these white stairs, not a bunker push like you would usually see with this operator, and these stairs are going to be difficult. NT takes more damage, and Xe falls on the other side of the map, and Nitro comes up from Yuki, just kills Madrino in the process, and now the attack has to sort of regroup. They have to focus their attack elsewhere, and they're just facing down this wall of Kiba barricades. Tadas, however, finds a beautiful angle onto the Azami of Hasty through her own lines of sight, but is taken down through the connector. Koala playing in the closet. He's got the impacts if he wants to confirm this kill, and he does that. He does just that. He sees the drone in laundry facing at him, but now he can hold these really aggressive one-way angles that block the one-shot headshot that would maybe shut him down here. He's perfectly safe in closet and connector to just keep on swinging if he wants to. That being said, we're seeing a bit of quiet. We're seeing a bit of peace in this round as the attack are readying for this final aggressive push, and it's coming from Freezer. 2 men in Freezer. And a beautiful kill from Legoman onto NT. He's wanting to push forward, get a second one. Cake, on the other hand, he picks up the pace, and Legoman as well. And Cameron's back with us. You have missed a quite bizarre round. You missed a roam clear that was clearing out nothing.
Brilliant.
A push that changed direction about 2 times, but the attack, despite these adversities, they just win these gunfights and pick Team Black 3-1 up.
Okay, that's cool. I don't necessarily know if I'm synced, but we'll find out. Well, you know, we'll. Okay, I am.
Let's go.
What do you know? My intuition is just. It's too good. Well, kitchen dining now coming through from Entropy.
Yeah, this kind of reeks a bit of desperation. I think
Yeah.
it probably agreed to be the 4th strongest site, the weakest site here. There's a bit of debate.
Yeah.
Kitchen dining versus kitchen meeting. Teams tend to prefer meeting because you can hold attic, you can hold better, sort of more defensive angles from that attic hatch. But we're seeing Entropy, they're foregoing basement, they're foregoing top floor. They're just trying out one of these strats. And we said Entropy was a very strat-heavy team. They want to combat the perhaps historically better gun skill of Team Black with these puzzles they have to solve just to get to site. And, you know, what better way to do that than through a tertiary site that Team Black won't see as often. They perhaps won't have as concrete of a good idea of how to clear it out. So maybe this pocket strat is what Entropy need to sort of get themselves back on the board, to stem the bleeding, to stop this snowball that we're seeing, just like we did in the first map.
Yeah, although it is only that one round, right? It's not necessarily, you know, the full package. And Oregon has been the favor has been pretty heavily in the side of the defenders throughout ESA Season 5 so far, which means that even these 3 rounds from Black should probably be enough to send them through to Cafe Dostoevsky. Obviously, that will be our map 3. Anything can happen, though, including a beauty of an opener from Hassie, taking out Legoman through the Pixel Peak. And that's a good start. You know, Legoman was 4-2, was doing pretty well in that fragging department, now taking out the round, and that's going to be a little bit of confidence now. Entropy have that opening pick.
A beautiful response from Madrino there, but we're still seeing the strength of the Azami. She can waste time, and she can even get these kills on these angles. A reverse angle onto Cake, but shut down eventually, so they trade a down for a death. A beautiful kill from Yuki. Has no business winning that, and whatever damage was dealt to him in that engagement, he can heal right back up with the stim pistol. 3 versus 3, health advantage now in the favor of the defense, and the attack have comparatively little ground for what they've expended here.
Yeah, absolutely. With about a minute left to go, Tatters does find an angle onto the player that's rotated inside of green and does find the kill. Not the second, though, as NT shuts him down. Cake swings from shower, but the shield does protect. So 2 versus 2. Sight still not yet in grasp for the side of Team Black. EXA and NT need to just hold on here. So Talonate shield of the Ossa comes through. Now it's put down, and the diffuser should start to be planted any second now. Indeed it is. Cake has to cover, but can't get it done. NT with the flank. There's 1 kill from Madrino, though. In response, NT finds it, though. It was a close one, and some whiffed shots both ways. But in the end, Entropy come out on top with their second round on the board, and this round number 6 is also kind of a must-win round for them. Brings it up to 3-3. They do have then a chance to take it probably to overtime. They still have a chance then to win it out in 2 maps. We don't need to see Cafe Dostoevsky, not necessarily. And Entropy, they're going to be hoping that that is the case. We don't go there. They get that 2-0. The Team Black already 3 attacks in Oregon. You're going to favour them.
Yeah, but a 3-3 half is certainly doable. Oregon, as with many maps, we're way out of that utility meta by now. Attack is starting to get more favored. Obviously,
it's still 60% defense though inside of this league, so it's considerable stats to go up
60
against.
round down to 50, basically the same thing. If they get a 3-3, if we just turn the numbers a bit.
If I change it to the number that I want it to
if we
be,
just
then
lie,
it's the number I want it to be.
But it's doable. We see the
doable.
teams
Yeah,
are
yeah,
good
for
on attack. And I know we always say it's doable because stranger things have happened, but you can't necessarily go away from a 3-3 half, especially the manner of this half. It seemed like Team Black have been thoroughly in control, so to win those last 2 rounds, you can't really go away from that half and be too upset. You've still gotten half of the rounds on your side. You've won half those rounds. And it makes that second half so much more doable. That being said, if they lose this, if Team Black take their advantage up to a 4-2, it's going to be a lot more difficult because suddenly that's only 2 defensive wins in Oregon to get to that map point. And it looks like it might stray towards that way because Hasty very early on taking a lot of damage, essentially a down's worth of damage, only on around 20 health. He's got those Capcan traps deployed, so he can still find some value in the unfortunate event that he does die early without getting a pick. Yuki, the same can't be said for him, however. The jammers will provide intel disruption, but there's no damage being dealt by those signal disruptors, so he doesn't waste time. He dies early, and unfortunately, that's a real detriment to that defense.
Yeah, having a shotgun as well, it's just so damn handy, especially when it comes down to those final few moments. And 100 seconds left to go now in this round. Possibly a bit of a biffed.
The refurbishment there?
Yeah, just... But Tatters finds a second. And it's starting to fall apart for Entropy yet again. Tatters is aware of Hassie's position, who really can't get anything done here. Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
And the worst part about this is...
It's a 4v2 on site, basically, because Tatters is just here watching.
And if they call the execute, they could realistically probably just ignore him and just hold their flank. They could just go on the site and ignore him if they really want to call that execute. But 2 quick kills from Exy, evening it out. Incredibly well done in that difficult position with the smoke. And suddenly it's a lot more winnable, especially with Hasty off-site holding this sledge hostage with the mere threat of that flank.
Yeah, he's going to rotate down now. Tatters finds 1, makes it 3. Madrino as well, which means it is now all on Hassie. Still on about 15 HP. Diffuser not in the control of the attackers though, which means they have to try and find this kill. And Hassie gets a kill through the freezer angle. He is so low though. The hatch being open is a detriment. As Kamikaze swings round.
He gets the knife!
Oh my, that was so close. A knife kill.
Yeah.
And it's locked off from the other side.
It was very nearly an Entropy round there. Hasty, he stalls them for time. He plays that position. He plays a position where he probably should have played for his life, but as things went more and more poorly on site, he did choose to rotate, and
yeah,
that was ultimately probably the right decision. He gets 2 there, does trade out with himself though. He gets that knife kill at the end, but is taken out. But it was a little bit too aggressive from Entropy to really finish out that half. I see the vision. I see them wanting to end it out with a quite unexpected just burst of aggression to get that final round on the board. But it cost them. Team Black read into it perfectly. They won these fights. They took these really easy gunfights as well. Like, you have a mute with a shotgun trapped alone in a room that's just completely soft. They can just get any angle they want on him, basically. So they kind of go for this unexpected, like, just ferocity, but it doesn't work out. And that has left them at that severe disadvantage we were saying. It's quite unfortunate for Entropy that on the back of such a good map of Clubhouse, Oregon has drastically just gone away from them.
Yeah, Team Black find their confidence again as well, which is kind of a major factor because they took those swings, but you could tell that it was just a little bit off. But now they're really feeling themselves, really getting into the groove, and, well, it's working out. As I say that, he whiffs on a drone. It happens. We all have those days. Me more than most people, but you know, it happens.
He's saving the aim for the attackers. Don't worry.
Exactly.
There's no point, peeking
that's-
too early,
that's what
hitting
I
the mad
say.
flick on the drone. You want to be hitting those flicks on the people, and he might get offered with an opportunity. Exy, incredibly aggressive on this Jackal, just crouch walking in. He sees that no one's been around here using that gadget. Jackal, an operator that we have seen a bit of this match. You'd expect maybe to see him a little bit more. It seemed like a target ban on Clubhouse, but both sides not really relying on that Jackal too much. He's a useful addition, but he can be counterplayed pretty easily because you can just bait the Jackal with that ping, and a lot of teams will sort of get tunnel visioned on the player getting pinged.
Yeah.
So that's probably why I don't seem to offer. That being said, he maybe does get tunnel visioned on the right guy, kills Madrino early on, but not too big a loss.
Control.
Yeah, but you have those Goyo canisters placed down. There's still half the round left. A bit too close for comfort for the defense, but look at that. 40 seconds of stall on that door alone with the 2 Goyo canisters. The attack are going to have to drone that out, but even so, they have nothing. They have no explosive utility to disrupt that. They're just going to have to go for kills, and that's exactly what they get. 3 kills now for a 1v4 for Cake. All alone left on Kids, and Entropy finally hitting their shots. That being said, Cake takes out 1, falls to the Nomad air jab, pushed back into safety, and when he next emerges, Koala takes him out. A good round from Entropy. On that side, we say maybe isn't too favored.
Yeah.
It may be a little bit too early to say this, but they still could be in this match.
It's a good showing, certainly.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that I was actually going to bring up, only getting 2 rounds on defense maybe doesn't excuse the Yana ban. Maybe, Yana is an operator that you can try to use to its full potential, especially when you're down by 2 rounds heading into your attacking half. But that doesn't matter anymore because they found a really good attack, and I think Yuki pushed in through the Goyo canister because we saw them taking continual damage out on the overlay.
And sometimes you've got to eat that damage to get.
You've got to eat that damage,
kills.
yeah. And it works.
Yeah, it's a similar case with the smoke that a lot of defenders will just assume that a smoke gas canister or a Goyo charge is effectively a wall that will stop the attackers. But it really isn't. I mean, if you walk through that as a 3-speed operator, even a 2-speed operator, you're going to only eat around 30 damage, which is by no means like that consequential, especially in Siege, a game of one-hit headshots. If you just march in there, catch a defender off guard, you can get that one-hit headshot, and suddenly, you've opened up that site, and that's exactly what happened. We saw that site get opened up, and it led to a flurry of kills for the attack as the defense were just left struggling, trying to figure out how to stem the bleeding, how to get that man advantage back in their favor. And we're going to see the defense sort of try this again. This time they are bringing the smoke over the Goyo. They maybe want to double down that denial, bring the sort of visual impact of the smoke as well. But a spawn peek, I believe, and Tadas is out of there. He whiffs it. He realizes he's much more useful alive than trying to die for that. So he keeps himself alive. He has those impacts in pocket. He still has a Banshee in pocket as well. So it was a risky play from Tadas, because if he dies there, he's not fully utilized his utility. Meanwhile, the attack are getting very aggressive on top of these armory stairs, a position that is just left uncontested by the defense. Trophy as well. The attack have gotten this map control in an even swifter fashion than last time without having to even get a pick.
Yeah. And they're able to just bring in the Flores drone. That's going to take out any utility that was keeping that door at bay. And Koala finds the opener. So again, aggressive play from Entropy leads to them getting the opening pick, leads to them getting the advantage inside of this round. EXA was involved in an opening engagement yet again, but the kill wasn't found from that. But it certainly left a bit of damage onto the defense, and Tatas is dead as a result of that. More EMPs come through now from Yuki. But it is actually Hasi down below who takes a lot of the heat. Kamikaze downstairs on that smoke, looking to just catch them out. And Lego Man finds one upstairs, finds 2! And now he's retaken this master bedroom position. And Diffuser surrenders here as well. Yuki does try and find that kill with Lego Man. Tries to go for the cross back. 3 versus 3 now. But Yuki not quite ready for Cake to be taken back to the same position. Kamikaze finally collects downstairs. And Yuki and Exa now 2 versus 3. So Toxic Babes come through. 45 seconds. Diffuser has been regained. But they know where these attackers are. And it's just such a difficult position for Yuki and Exa to try and play from. Just a Thatcher and a Flores. Only really 2 flashbangs available to be used. Even the drone gets taken out. And they're so low that that Toxic Babe is going to act like a wall. Cake just playing behind the pillar. Kamikaze on these white stairs. They're just holding these angles. They know they don't need to get too aggressive. Yuki is rotating. And it seems like it might just be too late. And indeed it is. Cake finds the rotating player. Well, sorry, no. Kamikaze finds the rotating player. Cake finds the other.
I'll tell you what, I was about to go.
Black.
I was about to go absolutely ballistic at Kamikaze for roaming as the smoke. But he gets the pick. As you said, he caught Yuki, I believe it was Yuki on the ESA, he caught them off guard.
I think it was Hassie.
He caught Hassie off guard, and that just completely stunts the pace of that attack, because it goes from a two-dimensional attack with the main push coming from closet and the backstab on white. It suddenly becomes a very one-dimensional push with both players in closet. So ultimately, it was a good play from Kamikaze. I'm still not particularly sure it was the right play, but his gun skill definitely carried him through that. It made the best of a questionable situation with the smoke being so offside. And it seemed like Team Black have finally sort of... I don't say finally, it's only 2 rounds on the defense, but their aggression was getting punished by Entropy, but they've managed to start winning these gunfights. They're back in that form that we saw them on their attack, and that's led them to be 5-3 up.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, indeed it has. And
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
the streets of Moscow
Attackers recovered the
just
diffuser.
slightly more in the horizon now. Obviously, Cafe Dostoevsky, our decider if should we get there. But it's 1 round of back and forth so far. We're going down to the basement now. So another strong site for defenders. Wasn't the primary pick for Team Black, which is a little bit of off meta, but not really too bad. We'd still do see it won out quite a lot, picked quite a lot as a secondary. And now we do go down to the basement. Which means we are probably going to see Cake holding the bunker, which indeed we do.
Yep.
And there's nothing too off meta here from
We're
Team
seeing
Black.
this bunker defense again, which Entropy utilized in round 5, I believe. So a little bit out of the ordinary that you don't have the defense to waste this time. Madrino seems to finally be peeking ahead, wants to get in this early engagement, loses it, doesn't deal a lick of damage onto the Nomad, but takes almost half his health as a punishment. He's now retreating back to these white stairs, and that's where he should ideally be holding, but he wants to go back to the security of sight. That does, however, leave white free to take for the attack once they realize it's open.
Yeah, absolutely. Tatters in this Shaiko spot does swing over towards bunker, but nothing found from it in either direction. Nearly did see the elbow of Koala, though. Possibly did spot it and gives that information along to his side. And we've seen these keeper barriers on the back stairs just so difficult for an attacker to push through just because of the angles they provide. Exa spots out Lego Man playing the Azami as NT does drop down the Candela's Mad, taken out, punished for that aggression upstairs. But with a minute left to go, we are making it very difficult as Exa gets found by Tatters, which means that push down pillar is completely negated now. It is going to be the next player to step up the play. Yuki does find that kill, but does get downed in the process. Every player on Entropy just so damn low on HP in this essentially a 3 versus 3 because Yuki's downed. The drone shot out immediately by Kamikaze as well. 30 seconds left, and Lego Man nearly caught out the F2, not dealing enough damage, but NT does find it. Kamikaze with a response though. With 20 seconds left, they need to start trying to get this diffuser down. More Candelas too come through with the Toxic Babes. Koala's on such low HP that he definitely cannot even try to push that as a flank comes through from Cake. Yuki does find Kamikaze now, which makes it a 1 versus 2, but this is so winnable. No Toxic Babes left. Yuki does rotate round the other side. Enti on this close position locks it down. Entropy now bring it back to within 1.
And it was a bloodbath on site that round, but the thing that ultimately won Entropy that round was the time. They had a lot of time remaining for that execute because there was no contest to get that top floor control and get that ground floor control. The very best you had was Madrino going quite aggressive, quite early, and ultimately he did get shut down by the Ying. But without a proper established roaming setup, the attack was just free to start hammering down on site with a minute remaining. And you know, even if 20 seconds more was used up in that round, it would have gone towards Team Black. There was just no time left by the time they had to finally get that case down that round. That you'd think maybe if they were more active with their defense, they roamed more, they contested more, they would have won that round because it was a scrappy execute when it came to it. The attack simply had the time to really calm down mid-round and get these picks.
Yeah. Basement again then.
Hopefully
Very
they roam
similar
this time.
setup.
10 seconds remaining.
We're seeing actually just a little bit of a switch up. Mandarino and Lego Man have swapped operators, and that's about it. I guess Lego Man's just a little bit more confident roaming, so taking the Warden instead up on that top floor. Obviously, we did see Mandarino try to go for that aggressive swing, but it just didn't work out. Enti was able to shut it down. This is aggressive though.
Tartars finally gets it.
My.
It looked like it was going towards the attacking side there. He also gets a Twitch strain for his trouble. A very early peek onto that Ying, the sort of linchpin of the attack, of that take.
Yeah.
So much utility provided by that operator. And also, I believe Enti had hard breach charges last time.
Yep.
So this attack can only get one hatch open with that ace. And still, after that, they can only get one little wall angle open. You'd probably want to spend that to clear out the Shaiko player. But that's a hard breach that often gets destroyed. You would want this sort of security of having multiple of them in pocket. So what looked like an inconsequential sort of spawn peak is really quite disastrous for this Entropy attack.
Yeah, already map point looking likely. For Entropy, we are seeing the hatch being opened up by Koala. But like you mentioned, now only one Selma charge left inside of Pocket. 100 seconds left to go as the angle does get opened up. The EMPs come through as well. So Shaiko's spot not going to be able to be played, but Kamikaze is still in Harry Potter. Does the drone spot him out? I don't think it does. I think it got muted out. So this could be a potentially very dangerous position. Oh no, they saw him. They saw him. Okay.
Oh, good. But still, they have to clear him. And that angle, because it was only one ace charge, it's so narrow, it only blocks a very specific position that the defender can play.
No smokes at all from, say, Hassie, which means that it's going to be really difficult to clear out these Surya gates, and we see a trade back and forth, but Entropy, because they lost that opening pick, are still in that disadvantage.
It's just getting worse and worse for Entropy. Map point on the horizon. We're taking this to map 3. If Entropy don't massively improve their game here, it seems like Exi caught out alone. As I say that, Hasty, his only teammate, similarly alone in bunker. Exi gets one through the hatch, but there's just nothing he can do from this position. He can't drop that hatch, or else he eats a hefty amount of damage and an audio cue. He can try and go down those tower stairs, but he's facing down a pixel angle through these Kiba barricades. The entry attack fell apart the moment that Ying died, and they can try their best. They can get these 2 picks onto Cake and Lego Man, but it's not enough. And Exi is just forced in an unwinnable situation.
Yeah. It's tough. It's very tough.
Can't
Doesn't even manage to save his KD for the end of it. Kamikaze through the hatch. And this is bad news now for Entropy. Oregon not
no
going their way.
mistakes. Can't afford another mistake now for Entropy, and
No.
they've got to attack kids' dorms and a tertiary site as well. A tertiary, sure, they could easily win that, but this kids' dorms defense, it stumped them first time around.
And even if they win the first attempt of this,
Got
Black
overtime
can
as
just
well.
play it again. So
they can play it again in regulation. They could try and play a tertiary if they have a pocket strat of their own, but still, it's just so heavily in favor of Team Black here on this Oregon, because of that first half. Really, it's a very different story if Entropy were to win that final defense.
Yeah.
But as things stand, Team Black have just won off. They've drastically improved since that first map. They get a better split to start off this map, and they've continued that good performance.
Absolutely.
10 seconds left before insertion.
But, they still do have the round difference. Even if they lose this round,
Attacker's objective is
I believe the way it works is that they choose who starts on attack in map 3 if they have a higher round difference. And, well, because of that 7-3 on map 1, they do have the advantage in that category. So we'll see. I believe that's how it works. I'm not 100% sure, so do not
So
quote me on
Entropy
that.
start
but
on attack map 3, or start on defense map 3.
Okay. Okay,
Highest map that chooses size recurring. So Entropy
so
are
Entropy
slightly
do get to
favoured going
choose.
into that map 3.
Yeah. So
Obviously,
every
ideally,
cloud.
they want to win this. Every cloud has its silver lining, but the cloud ain't here yet. They can still win these 2 rounds, get it to overtime. We've seen Entropy be
Sure.
proficient at these attacks. It's just a case of can they win these early gunfights, because Team Black are providing them with the opportunity to get these early picks. And even better, Team Black are providing them with the ground to get these early picks, as Trophy, once again, uncontested. No, not even a line of sight into Attic for them to play more passive defense. They're just fully locking themselves into sight, but Entropy can't win these gunfights.
And I'm confused as to why we're seeing 6 claymores being brought along by the attack, only 2 of them down so far. And there's no nades to speak of. You've got flashbangs, obviously, with the primary utility of these operators. You don't necessarily need to have grenades be coming along. We are seeing Capital come through as well. The only operator that's actually used those claymores as Hassi finds the first. Lego Man, though, trades back instantly. That takes down Exa, which means it's a 4 versus 4. 1 minute left on the clock. This defense is going to be more and more favored the longer that round timer ticks down. So keep your eye on the top of the screen. Entry with the pre-fire. Beautiful play of the Capital, just forcing out the player, but Tatters answers back yet again. So it's still equal man count in a 3 versus 3. Tatters down below, now rejoining the rest of the defense on the site. As Cake whiffs on the drone, falls down the hatch, but that still means that's 1 position cleared. But they still are going to be contested if they go for this jump in. Yuki now pushes in through Trophy, gets spotted out, and isn't aware of the player inside of Attic. You've got to be droning that man. Come on.
And that's the map slipping away, I believe.
Yeah, and the impact grenade to close it out. Got to catch them all. And they do catch, they collect Oregon.
A fantastic bounce back from Team Black there. They honed in on their gun skill. The confidence seems to be back, and it's now looking very worrying going into map 3. If this is the Team Black that arrives on Cafe, then we could see them winning this series after all. After all this, these negative things we had to say after Clubhouse, I think we've been shut down by them. We've been humbled by Team Black. Clearly, there's more to this series than it first seemed, and well, it's now suddenly gone from a best of 3 down to essentially a best of 1, and Team Black coming off the back of that previous win.
Yeah.
They could win this in dominant fashion.
So, we are going to take a quick break before we head into Cafe Dostoevsky, the decider, map number 3 of this series. And it's the second map 3 that we're seeing in these playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So
yeah, I'm happy that we're going to map 3. I think we've maybe been robbed of some good series before with these sort of
yeah,
good teams getting beaten in quite an upset fashion. Wednesday comes to mind. We see that
yeah,
that team
for sure.
misclick losing 2-0 in a match many would favor them in, and even so, at least everyone would probably say it would be a close game. But we're not seeing a blowout. We're seeing this map 3. We've got a series on our hands, and we'll be back with Cafe right after the break.
Yeah, see you in a few. Welcome back, everyone. We've got Cafe Dostoyevsky ready. It called, and Team Black, well, they picked up the phone as we are about to head into map number 3, the decider. After a convincing first map from Entropy, Oregon slipped away from them.
Yeah, and Entropy, a very strat-focused team, but when you get onto the grounds of Oregon, suddenly that mechanical gun skill, that aggression, that confidence is rewarded a lot more, and that's exactly what we saw. Oregon drastically swung the other way, going in favor of Team Black, and now we're on Cafe, which is a bit of an odd one. It kind of mixes both those play styles, so
Overtime?
we could see it. Yeah, we could see it go overtime. We could see it go either way. Personally, predictions. Personally, I think Team Black will take it. I think the momentum they gained from that Oregon match is going to carry over. They're going to be confident. They're going to be feeling themselves with that gun skill. So, I'm going Team Black. Pastor, what have you got?
I'm inclined to agree with you. I hate to be, the sort of, well, I hate to be the guy that just agrees with the co-caster. Obviously, you like to have differing opinions on the desk, but I'm inclined to agree with you. I think Team Black are just they're just playing better since Clubhouse, because we saw flashes of brilliance from them in the first 3 rounds of Clubhouse as well.
Absolutely.
Whereas Entropy, they had some good rounds, but for a lot of what I remember from Oregon, they did look a little bit lost. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, just the gun skill from Team Black really showing up, and we're seeing that Nook taken off the board again.
Yana ban again for the third time, do you reckon?
I would certainly say we're probably getting a Yana ban from Entropy. They want to stick with this kind of target ban, and I'll be surprised if it goes to something else. Because if you've doubled down that far with the Yana ban on 2 maps, even if it has hindered your attacking so far, they're going to triple down at Yana, map 3, ban throughout this series.
Well, it worked on Clubhouse, not quite on Oregon, but we didn't really see nades come into play much at all on Oregon, primarily because Nock and Yana both banned. We're seeing that again, and we are seeing a mirror this time. However, that gives Team Black a little bit of freedom for what they want to ban last. And it will be that Azami. So we're seeing some constants throughout this series when it comes to the op veto.
Going into round 1, bar and cocktail, perhaps not the sight you would expect to see. We've discussed this many times. Bar and cocktail is a familiar sight, but it's not by no means the most competitively viable. The skylight, for one, massively swings certain positions in favor of the attack. It makes it hard to defend on site. But it's also a site that just many players know. You play it a lot in ranked outside of officials, so you're naturally going to be quite good at defending it. You're going to find avenues to go through on the defense. So it doesn't necessarily matter that on paper it is not favored towards the attack, as long as Team Black have a good setup and they play to it and they can get these picks that have really helped them throughout these rounds. If they can get an opening pick, then this cocktail defense is really doable.
Yeah, the danger does come from that skylight, though, doesn't it? And another thing as well, it seems like this is a push that I'm excited to see, because I've seen it played plenty of times, never actually gotten to cast it though, which is you have a Ying up above on Skylight, Candela's come through, a lot of sound being made, and you have the Amaru, this time being brought along by Hassie, jumping in through onto the cocktail balcony, and just tearing up the bomb site.
Yeah, it does look to be this quite aggressive surprise Ying Arena strat, or Amaru strat, my apologies. But there's going to be a bit of setup beforehand. There's going to be a bit of momentary silence as the attackers take their positions. We have one on the rappel, Hasty waiting to go on this heaven bout. Buck breaking up these hatches, perhaps to suggest that a different push is coming. The sort of more normal, natural push down the stairs, you know, aggressing onto Cigar before you even touch site.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling we've only got 20 more seconds. They just need to clear up below, and then they can signal that go sign. We can get these Candelas in. Amaru rushes in, and it has to be an attacking win, right? Surely this setup. There's nothing to counter it. No Warden, no Frost, nothing to counter it. They've just got to win their gunfights. But Entropy haven't been that good in doing that in recent memory. Oregon was a rough match for them. So really on the shoulders of Hasty, he has to get this pick. And as Tadas falls down below, Sight is looking more and more vulnerable. They just have to say go. And you could argue they've waited too long because Tadas, he gets the opening pick. He's still off site. They really have to make it go now. Here it comes. Surely.
No?
Surely. Entropy,
come on.
you have to do this now. You're wasting so much time. The defense they're gonna cleanse this. They're gonna realize.
I mean, sometimes we do wait
room
until
clear.
the final 30 seconds, but that 1:05 mark comes through. Lion scan. They're aware of the Echo's position. Takes him down first. That's a good first pick as the diffuser now starts to get planted. You do have a player below, but it's not a Solis. It's instead an Aruni, and that is going to be Hassie with a kill onto the smoke. Lego man, you can't be losing those. He didn't even have his gun up at the time. And Tatters did find that pick earlier, but now has to find the remaining 4. An ace 1v4 if it wants to be a round win. And with only about 20 seconds left before it just becomes unwinnable, there's absolutely no time. NT takes a swing, LMG in hand, and Yuki connects. The execute came through when it needed to. It maybe seemed like it was going to take a bit too long, but often with these Aroni, you got me doing it now. Often with these Amaru pushes, you don't necessarily see those in the opening minute. Sometimes, you know, especially when it comes down to crunch time, the defense just feel a little bit more.
Feel more comfortable, but
yeah.
It's sort of misplaced comfort. They see that there's no roam clear. They see that there's no map pressure. But after seeing that, they don't then sort of think... They don't have the, I guess, the privilege that we do of having these outlines. But after seeing this complete lack of a roam clear, they then were not focusing on, okay, there's going to be an armory rush. There's going to be some kind of cheesy strategy. But the thing with these strategies is they only tend to work once. But we're seeing it again. And worse off, we're seeing Team Black not opting for any kind of operators to counter it, not even a Frost. I mean, Warden still provides his uses, even if there's no Ying on the board, no Glass or Sense or whatever. He still has 2 good guns. He has that shield. You just think for insurance, for safety's sake, you would maybe bring one of these operators in the off chance that Entropy try and make lightning strike twice with this Ying Armory execute. But finally, they're perhaps blessed by this pause timer. We're seeing Legoman swap onto that Warden. He took his time, but now, hopefully, with the attacker repick, Entropy will see this Warden and opt in for more of a conventional push.
Yeah, I don't think they can really work it a second time. Again, we just had a bit of a hand cams issue to sort out, but again, it's all sorted now. So, back into the round. They haven't actually swapped out from this. You know, Candela's still inside. Yuki bringing a blitz as well.
The blitz is interesting because the blitz implies that there's going to be an even more aggressive push here.
Yeah, this feels like this will be a quicker round than we saw
Along
the first time of
the
asking.
Finker as well. There's an interaction with the
I'm
Finker
very
where
confused.
the Finker essentially allows Amaru to act as a pseudo Ying. It clears the flashbang effect from Hasey's screen and allows him to get more aggressive while these Candelas are going off. Now that might be their response to there potentially being a warden, that they just need to get in before the Candelas even fully finish going off, and just get Hasey in as quick as possible. But Warden just hard counters this.
Yeah,
He has the
absolutely.
Nitro as well. He doesn't even need to take the gunfight. He can just throw the Nitro. There's plenty of denial. They have the Echo for the intel. They have the Solace for the plant denial. So this has now gone from a sort of unwinnable round for them in round one for the defense to almost unlosable as long as Lego Man gets this first pick onto the Amaru.
Line scan comes through, and it's not even the Candelas that come through. Blitz just hard rushing through. Tatters gets taken out, but Cake finds one. That's the Amaru going down, and the Blitz is not able to get a pick either. Diffuser now surrendered in the bomb site. Plenty of time, and Exeter with the LMG not quite able to find Cake. They stare each other in the eyes, but nothing more than that. The LMG singing on through. Kamikaze just taking a bit more of a passive position here on Cigar. The second one of those E1D scans come through. Koala is going to be peppering shots and finds the kill. Exeter as well, which means it's now all down on Kamikaze. Does find the first. Diffuser still not in the hands of Team Entropy. Goes for the second swing onto the gunfight. NT nearly taken down, but finds a response. That is Entropy adapting very well in the mid-round to try and find another angle of approach, especially when, you know, their two main crutches, the Amaru and the Blitz, both go down early.
Yeah, it seemed like a round that massively swung in favor of the defense. There were questions raised when the Echo was in the same position and there was no warden there, but Echo, as if there must have been some kind of mistiming issue. Perhaps the Yin Candelas didn't probably hit, because the Echo could see Amaru perfectly, and he gets the pick onto Hasey. And that being said, they're going for something similar again. Surely they see it's when they see its kitchen, they'll swap out. But I'm just kind of lost for words that they would even try and do this a third time onto that third floor site. That being said, Yuki swaps off, Koala swaps off. Hasey could maybe stay on that Amaru, get some early control above, and that looks like what they're going to be doing. They give the diffuser off to the hard breach. So it's a much less consequential pick. But going back on that previous round, to have your planter killed as well as your shield killed and to still win that, it does show fantastic adaptation from that team mid-round. It shows the composure is still there for Entropy. It shows that that other map hasn't really gotten too much to them in that mental. They're still, you know, mentally with it. They're still strong. They're still confident.
Team Black well.
Exactly. They're playing into them perfectly, and that's what really won them that first map.
Yeah. You know, just being that more aggressive. Obviously, we did see the strategy, that sort of more logical side come through, but you know, in these previous two rounds, they've had that strategy and they've executed it not quite to perfection. They've had the adaptations, but they're not being scared of taking these gunfights. They're making sure that they find some aggression, because a large reason of why they lost Oregon is the fact that they allowed Team Black to just take all of these gunfights. A hefty amount of damage, though, from Lego Man. Takes Yuki down to about 50 HP, a little bit less than that, using those impact grenades from above. And with his vertical presence, they can't necessarily guarantee that they can get this plant down securely. So that is going to be the role of someone. Possibly Hassie, I believe, might be upstairs. Not entirely sure. Maybe NT.
Hassie or NT? It sounds like an ARX like far away from Bakery, so I'd assume NT is either outside or up above. It appears that the floors of Hasty, they're actually all on this ground floor. NT holding from Small Bake, Hasty outside Bakery door, just using these floor restraints to secure the kill on Madrino. That's got to rub a bit of salt into the wound, dying to a drone. And just as I say that, NT, he doubles up, he gets another kill. 4-0.
That's the vertical.
Yeah, as you said, vertical player gone. Tadas now has to come out of position, try and get back into his vertical position, and he loses the gunfight to NT on the vault. Cake is down, and it's all up to Kamikaze in a 1v5. I would say he's facing on a Monty, but it's Monty's job to plan. And NT, he comes down. A fantastic round from him. He clears out the vertical single-handedly and gets that final pick.
How on earth does NT win that gunfight?
You shouldn't.
That's ridiculous.
He just shouldn't. Simple as.
And Tassus was shooting at him as well. That's
just the P90. It doesn't have great damage per second. It is really carried by the amount of bullets it fires per second. That's plenty of opportunities to get a headshot, but when you're missing those and you're just hitting them center mass, you're not going to out damage the ARX.
I mean, I think that was a headshot
yeah.
from NT. Like, ridiculous. 3 kills in that round. I mean, you've gotta hand that round win entirely to NT. Taking out Lego Man, who was on the vertical, finding Tatters as well upstairs. I mean, that's huge.
And we're going to be seeing the defense attempting this reading site. We're bringing the Mozzie, not the Mute, however, so we're not seeing that iconic duo brought together. Castle, on the other hand, is going to be there to delay for time. Mozzie, interestingly, gets a drone in that prep phase, something you don't tend to see at this level of play, as the pass proved to be more of akin to a Mute jammer, just blocking the drone rather than actually catching them. I guess one of the Entropy players was just a little bit too antsy with their drone, just driving straight in, and he gives the defense an extra piece of intel to use. So that, combined with the Valk, you get 4 extra cameras. That being said, Madrino doesn't even need the cameras. He just gets to pick on Exy, and suddenly the information wars drastically go in favor of the defense. As the attacker left without a Jackal, they have no way to sort of quickly pin down these defenders. They're going to have to go through the long way. They're going to have to drone them out, meticulously drone every piece of map control to try and get it. So a great pick from Madrino. He finally finds the kill board, and he puts Team Black up to a pretty good start in this round.
2 Candelas being used here on the top floor. It's going to be a third coming through as well. You've got to jump when these come through, and it doesn't even work because you've got the castle barricade there in the way. Hasky though, Amaru does find a double somehow, just out of nowhere. Potential to find a third as well on these white stairs. Takes a drop SMG-11 now in hand instead of the LMG. And this is so much pressure that they're taking. And he finds it onto Kamikaze. This round has just been absolutely decimated. The defense taken apart by Hassi. No ace found as Cake denies it. In a 1 versus 3 made a 1 versus 2. LMG in hand, the Elder can go huge in these moments as Koala still does not have an entry onto the bomb site. Diffuser, no chance of going down so far, and Cake is in a really big position. He can try and isolate these 1v1s. He's in such a good position to do it. And he spots out the player. Cake finds one, but NT denies the clutch. Nearly the first round on the board for Team Black, but no. Entropy, they cling on, and that's now 4 rounds to 0. And man, that was so close, but Entropy just look unstoppable here on the streets of Moscow.
And once again, it's a round that goes really well for the attack. They take out that Jackal early. That, in theory, should massively slow down the clear. But they use the same Ying Amaru strat that they've now done 3 times, and once again, the defense just can't deal with it. They aren't looking in the proper directions. I was expecting a kill to ring out onto that Amaru because Ying completely missed the player in cocktail.
In the end.
Well, yeah,
after 4 players died, they got the pick.
Yeah,
you know.
4 people have to sacrifice their lives to stop Hasty on that aggressive Amaru push.
Yeah.
So you're just left asking, where's the adaptation? Why not bring a Frost? I get it. You know, there's inbuilt strats, pre-built strats. You can't really swap things out, but the Echo of Cake has found no value in any of these rounds. There just simply hasn't been a position where they can even get a plant down because they're just finding these kills too quickly. So why not swap out the Echo for something like a Frost? You still get the shield that you can place down, but you also get something to stop these cheeky Amaru pushes that Entropy, to give them credit, have been excellent at utilizing. And it looks like it's going to be yet another round. Hasty has locked in that operator. He wants to get this top floor control early. Hopefully, maybe he'll go through a different window, but he's in that same position. But quite rightly, he rotates over. He doesn't want to risk lightning striking 3 times, but as I say that, he's just getting the diffuser. They want to send it again. Doing. They've got the Ying, they've got that Blitz. It worked once, it worked twice. Can it work 3 times? Is 3 times the charm? Or are they finally going to get shut down? Exy,
Look
he's
at
slowly
Exy as
creeping up
well.
these white stairs. Is it all an elaborate ruse? Exy, he gets a free pick onto Madrino. He can now march into storage, but he's flushed by his own team. Catastrophe strikes from that storage show. But yeah, I was going to say, it looks like the attacker are going to win this, but 2v3, not even in the building. Koala stuck on Skylight. They've still got these crossfires established. Empty on the rappel. But surely, Cameron, surely the defense don't win this one.
Finally, that play has been blocked, but Koala, using those smoke grenades, is just going to deny it. Tatters, though, with the Warden, sees it clearly. Enti, no deaths, and is looking to continue that trend. This looks like it will be the first round on the board. These hatches aren't even open, so Enti doesn't have diffuser, doesn't have a hatch, just has some angles through the Skylight. And Tatters playing in Shaiko, Lego Man the other side as well. And there's a phrase, it's just so over. This round, done and dusted at this point. He's
Plenty
going
of
to
time
try
left.
to get the diffuser,
But
without these hatches open, there's really not much NT can do.
yeah, and I think quite rightly he's going to choose this time to try and maybe pad out his stats, get a free kill, but most importantly, just talk it out. You know, that's 50 seconds you've got to just talk with your team, see where this final attack went wrong, maybe even prepare in advance for that other half.
Oh no!
NT's finally taken down. A bit of a scrappy gunfight. Could have gone either way there, but, you know, it's still nothing to cry about for Entropy. They're 4-1 up on Cafe. They've just looked unstoppable except for this final round. And even so, that round was mainly down to a misplay from the attack. It wasn't Team Black that particularly responded well to that. It was just the unfortunate Candela that went off and flashed the Ash, who'd already got one kill pushing up white. If Xe wasn't flashed there, we are probably looking at a 5th Entropy round.
Yeah, for sure. Just, you know, a little bit of miscommunication maybe coming through.
We're going to be seeing Library and Dining once again. Another quite close round. It was ultimately brought down to a 1v2 for Cake, despite the heroic out from Hasey getting a 4K. It was closer than it probably should have been.
Yeah.
The question is, are they going to fall for the same Amory push? Or, I believe, the 5th round now?
I mean, Hassie is
He's
on
still
Flores,
locked in the Flores.
and
There's
let's
no
face
Yin.
it, technically they would have been caught out for the 4th round, because last round they weren't caught out at all. Hassie didn't even find a kill.
True,
So that's
but well, they're going to
it's an
attempt it. Let's say
improvement.
attempt it. And thankfully,
He's gone to the
they're
box.
not risking it. He's gone to the book. Madrino, he wants this spawn peak there. He wants to pad those stats, but it's Enti on the reverse angle, takes down Kamikaze on the castle.
9
I'm going to
kills.
hope the Kamikaze put all those armor panels down, because that would be a crucial loss if he still had utility in pocket. And Madrino is still going for this spawn peak. Leave it alone, man. You've missed your opportunity. Stay alive. Don't make it a 5v3.
Yeah, just even more peril trying to rotate back to the bomb site. That's now the site window being pressured as well. I believe, was it that top white window that we saw the spawn peak coming through? I'm assuming it probably must have been.
It might well have been, but
I'm
either
not
that
seeing
or on the
many.
piano.
I'm not seeing many castle barricades. I might just be.
I'm
No,
going to give
there's one
Kamikaze
on
the benefit of
top
the
floor.
doubt.
They're on the top floor. Yeah.
But either way, once again, it's
Yeah,
looking
let's
rough
talk
for the
about it.
defense. They lose that first pick early. It is the castle. It's not the greatest gun in the world. It's utility that probably should have been placed down early in the round. I'm
I
going to
think it
assume
was.
it is. Give him the benefit of the doubt. You know,
I can
the
see
man
3 of
knows
them
his
at
role.
least, so,
We've seen
you know.
3, but
Okay. Well,
the unfortunate circumstances are just compounding for the defense as Tadas is taken down. And Tadas is just a player who hasn't found the scoreboard, just like many of his teammates here. But he was such a key part of that effort on Oregon. And Legoman whiffs a shot on Hasty, doesn't notice him at first, could have been given a freebie to even out the odds. Xe elsewhere taken away. An attempted impact trick fails, and suddenly the attacker just pounding down the walls.
Yeah.
Legoman goes for the same
Legoman-
peak, nearly gets 2.
nearly.
He gets a pick onto Hasty finally after whipping the first time, but still 3v2 for the attack. They've got this top floor control. They know where these they know where at least one of these defenders is. They had a ping out. Madrino advancing at white. Meanwhile, it was actually Cake down below in pillars who gets a pick.
Yeah, 55 seconds left in the round, and suddenly there might be a second round on the board here for Team Black. You definitely don't count them out of it. The timer continues to tick down as well. Koala and Enti, the last two remaining. Koala not necessarily doing the best in terms of KD. Enti, well, one more would be double digits, and you've got to say that that's a massive influence. Cake, though, the only positive player for Team Black and is still standing. His defensive positions. You've got someone watching the hatch drop, which is where it looks like they might be going for. Madrino could find one here, indeed. Easiest freeze kill of his life onto Koala, nearly whiffs it, but collects with the second as well. Team Black, it feels like an injustice to Entropy that Team Black are going away here with a 2-4 half.
Yeah, 2 rounds that you could argue were maybe just stolen right from underneath Entropy's noses. That being said, 4-2 on the attacking half on Cafe is still a brilliant effort from Entropy. And, we saw a 4-2 last map, really just sort of sealed it in the first half. Oregon was essentially won in the first half. And we could see a similar case here. Team Black, they've not really found their footing on Cafe. They've not been hitting their shots and going onto the defense, going onto the attack even, to face this Entropy defense that have been so good at dealing with your aggression. You're gonna need the gun skill to boot to support these aggressive plays, because otherwise you're just gonna eat these early losses once again. These early picks are gonna go in favor of Entropy, just like they have been on their attacks.
Black have got an Amaru.
Oh, no. Okay. If Tatters gets away with anything on this pick, after the nightmare that Entropy have put Team Black through, I'm going to be very disappointed, because there is no way Tatters could you win this. They don't even have a Ying to mask it either. It's just going to be a straight push through. I'm going to hope Entropy can deal with it, because if so, that is that opening kill that they need. That probably will get throughout these rounds. They will be probably finding these opening kills, because just this gun skill hasn't been good enough from Team Black, and Entropy have been brilliant at meeting this aggression.
Well, we'll just have to see. Because
it doesn't look like they're going for it though.
No, it doesn't. At least not for now. Tatters obviously doesn't have that diffuser, so if they did want to go for that, maybe that's sort of the waiting that they're going for. Instead, using the LMG to open up an angle, try and take down. And Hassie is playing aggressive on this hatch with the mute. Here's the noise, but the breaching charge goes off just in time. C4 destroyed, kill denied. With a minute left, Expert aggressive on that window still gets taken down. Still is holding this angle. It's Lego Man who finds the first. C4 out the window. Yuki has to about face and does find that kill. So trades it back. 4 versus 4. C4 though was shot out in the meantime. And these explosives not finding their mark from the side of Entropy. However, Yuki is and firing on all cylinders with a second onto Madrino. As Exit now goes for the swing onto the ace. Cake, though, collects. Yeah, the Kai Claw, Electro Claw on that wall, though, is going to deny that kill. And what is this angle from Yuki? All the way through to top red. The flashbangs force him out, though. 1 minute 20 left. And, well, as the timer ticks down, again, defenders just get more and more favored. And this setup looks pretty strong. The only really control that the attack have is Cigar Shop. They don't even really... They have Lounge as well. But that's about it. Nothing over on the other side. Yuki could get called out here if he's not aware of Tata's position. However, Koala is assisting him on the angle.
It's such a difficult position to push out. There's no flashes. Yeah. There's only smokes that they can throw at them. We're seeing this Amory pick, maybe not playing off well. There was no nade, but Cake, he goes massive. He gets a triple on the round, 2 of them in Bathroom, and he's opened it up massively for the attack. NT just has to hold on. He's had a nuclear match so far, 9-2. He's got to find these last 2 picks. He gets 1, brings down to a 1v1. That's Cake down. It's all on Kamikaze in the 2v5.
Oh,
and he makes it work.
So close.
He's not at the best map, but he makes it count in those crucial moments. But that's around that. kind of has been stolen once again by Team Black. Entropy, they meet that aggression well. You had Yuki just absolutely deadlifting, not just with his kills, but with his utility. They couldn't get through that red wall, and he kept them at bay for as long as he physically could. He gets another as well into that Amaru, but he just can't do it all, and as his teammates fall around him, Black finally claimed this round.
Defenders not doing a good job of closing out these advantages, these rounds that they should be winning. And we're going to reading. Thunderbird being brought along. And this is still something that I'm constantly surprised by, even though I've been casting on these console leagues for, you know, half a season now. It's the prevalence of Thunderbird, even in the veto, or just being picked. We see it brought along a lot more than you would see in my normal circles when looking at PC, even heading all the way up to that sort of tier 1 competition. But yeah, very popular pick, and clearly Yuki's not a fan. It just destroys, unfortunately, the gadget with the super shorty. And it's a similar hold up above. I'm not seeing Kitchen being brought along. It seems like it's almost a tertiary for both of these teams.
These trash bag Capcom placement, it's quite infamous, but it's very effective. You can barely see those traps in that piece of map geometry, so that could definitely catch out one of these attackers. On the topic of Thunderbird, it is quite an uncommon operator you tend to see in PC, but as you've said, the console scene seems to like it. It might be due to the differing recoil that just makes the spear an absolute laser here. We've already seen LMGs, which again, any PC viewers will know that the LMGs there are knackered completely. They're borderline unusable for most operators, but console, they still live in luxury. Finka still certainly has some merit to be played.
Look at how quick this is from Team Black.
Yeah.
They're really getting across. They do destroy... I'm not entirely sure what drone that was, because there's no Mozzie on side. I think that was a team drone, unfortunate. But, you know, we move from that Lego Man. Just try and find these swings, taking out Hasty, or at least trying to, and indeed does collect. There's Enty as well on this side. Cake take down low in the meantime, and the C4 comes through on the fadeaway. Enty now on to 11 kills inside of this game. Cake not too far behind on the opposing side, but there you have it. 2 quick picks in response, and Madrino doubles down. It's now a 1 versus 4 for Enty, who can't find any more than those 11, and it's been brought back. Yuki, an unfortunate disconnect.
Rage quit?
That's what I was possibly like. Was that a rage kit? Extra as well.
Oh, we're definitely going to have some kind of tech pause, folks, as the entirety of Entropy seem to be leaving the lobby, and perhaps a rehost called. Legoman as well. I think we're going to throw to a quick technical break then. Hello.
I'm assuming there'll be a rehost.
Well, anyway,
very
look at that
confused.
round. A great round from Madrino. He gets those picks, and that's kind of representative of a bigger trend we've sort of seen on these 2 attacks of the Team Black players are finding their footing again. They're finding these kills. They're hitting the scoreboard in a way that they weren't in that first half, and it's kind of painting a similar story as it was to Oregon, because once these guns start firing on the side of Team Black, Entropy just can't respond. They just can't find anything once they finally heat up.
Yeah, I'm very confused as to what's going on. 4-4 on Cafe Dostoevsky, as it turns out. Yeah. It's a peculiar situation. Stuff's happening behind the scenes to get that sorted out. But yeah, like you say, Team Black fighting back. Like, you know, it's just an attacker-sided Cafe, I guess.
It does seem like it's going that way. We didn't see the Thunderbird that we were sort of focusing on find much value that round, because Team Black healing operators only have so much use, and when you're playing as a team like Team Black who are just hitting these headshots, you can't heal that off. They're just dead. Simple as. So perhaps not an operator that's exactly fit for the job. It's a skin protest we've heard. So I'm unsure if we're getting like I'm not sure how long. First off, I don't know how long this break's going to be, but we could see a round potentially be omitted from the sort of round history. Potentially, we're going back down to 4-3 if this round is called off.
Yeah,
It
I don't know.
seems like the hand cam channels are empty, so we might be a little while.
No, the teams have both like mutually decided on no hand cams.
No hand cams.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm confused as to why that warrants a leave.
Okay.
We're just
We're
going to go
gonna throw
to
a
a break in the meantime.
Sorry.
Yeah,
We'll be back.
We'll be
back from map 3 in a few.
Map 3 Part 2. Let's get
Map
it.
3 Part 2. Like And we are back. There was a skin protest on that 4-4 round, so we are in fact a little bit back in time. We are replaying round 8. I know, very fancy. We've got this brilliant technology in front of us. We're replaying round 8, and we're going to be seeing the same setup, the same operators picked. But Madrino there, he had a little bit. He was being a bit cheeky last round. He had a banned uniform on IQ, or just any uniform that isn't pro league is banned. So that issue's been sorted. We're replaying this round. Last time, yes, you'll remember, it was Team Black that took this. And it's quite unfortunate for Team Black because not only have they lost a potential round here, it's also sort of stopped that momentum because they were coming off, after that round, they were coming off a 4-round win streak, yeah?
Yeah.
But now, suddenly, they've had to wait a while and they've not even won that round. So that pace that they set themselves has been lost. So we could see this go a very different way. That could have been that slight mistake. You know, nothing malicious behind it. It happens. You know, you've got to switch your cosmetics around. Sometimes people just want to play ranked with like everything they have on their account, whatever. But that slight mistake could have cost this entire map if things start going a different way. It could slip away from Team Black after it looked like after a strong entry start, it looked like Team Black finally had like a foot on the ground here, but it could slip away from them.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing, you know, we saw a team get off to a hot start and then a number of rounds in a row. And we saw that on Clubhouse as well, on the other foot, though, because obviously Team Black had a very strong 3-0 start and then 7 rounds in a row for Entropy. So
they don't want to leave anything down to risk, though. They're just pushing Library. A 5-man rush from the looks of it.
Oh
Yuki
my
takes
God,
down 2,
Yuki
gets a third empty as well. And suddenly, as we were just saying, this round has slipped away from them. Madrino in a 1v5. No chance he can lock it out. A flawless round due to the heroics from Yuki instantly responding to that rush. And suddenly, 5-3 up for the side of... I just forgot the team now. I'm so sorry. For the side of...
Team Entropy.
Team Entropy.
Gaming.
That's it.
Entropy
The side Team
Gaming
Entropy.
PlayStation.
And that nightmare scenario we were just talking about, it slipped away from Team Black. They were even. They'd evened it out. They'd done brilliantly getting over that really poor start to the round. But a high-risk rush like that has just left them in the dirt. They've completely messed up that opportunity for that round.
Yeah. A huge
round they've already won as well. That's the kicker, the thing that the salt in the wound, the thing that must hurt the most. They won that round. They thought they did. A mistake has caused that to be overturned, and now
then they just
given a
decide to go
second
for
opportunity.
a rush.
They rush. Exactly.
Yuki shuts it down perfectly, even getting an injure with the super shorty. 4 kills in the round for Yuki. I mean, just fair play to Entropy for winning that, because that seemed like it was going to be a very strong rush, but one player just absolutely stalwart denies the entire round, and well, it was flawless, which makes it even worse, honestly, for Team Black, you know, in that sort of mental capacity.
Yeah. And I just don't know if Team Black can get over that, really. They had that poor start to this map. It looked to be going their way, but they lose
Yeah.
this map, and now there's a 2-round gap between them. Entropy still on that defense. They can still rotate through all of the sites if need be.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. That being said,
Wow.
not too dejected it seems. Legoman gets that early pick onto Xe and drops down, wants to apply this pressure fast. He meets up with Enti next, but they're still nowhere near sight. They're getting this map control early, but this is a position we've seen Team Black lose from before. We've seen them get these early picks. That being said, they double down. They get that 3 versus 5. Enti has to fall all the way back to site, gets in a little bit of an engagement with the window player. Damage exchange either way. And we're now left in a 5v3 defensive crawl back to site. And the attack, that being, never mind, they're still gunning for this map control. It's Koala alone on site, Enti and Yuki. Yuki taken down. It's now a 2v4. Plenty of time for the attack to play with. They've got this map control. They're still not fully sure of it, as Enti was still up there. He's now pushed back down. 4v2 on the side of Team Black.
Yeah, this should be round for Team Black. However, Koala regressing up those red stairs. The drone does spot him out, however, so he's going to have to dip back. It actually goes for the kill on the hatch and finds it. That's a pick that should be happening. Enti as well. It's now a 2 versus 2 here, Joe. And very quickly, it swings back again. This round, a pendulum. Just back and forth. Still a minute left to go for these remaining 2 attackers, Madrino and Tatters. We've seen them put in work so far. As the C4 comes through, that's going to miss from Enti. Doesn't find its mark, however, still watching on this hatch, knows that that's where they're going to have to come down from. The nade doesn't connect, and Enti finds it. Now, it's map point, series point here, cooling for Entropy. The question is, are they able to find it? They know where this player is inside of prep. And Enti goes for the swing and finds it. 6-3, and that's a round they shouldn't lose. And, well, now mentally, you're going to be down in the dumps, in the trenches.
Absolutely.
4 versus 2.
Entropy, they heard that I forgot their names. They wanted to make sure that it would stick in my mind forever. A 4v2, they had no right winning that, but these Entropy players, they expertly move around the map to isolate these 1v1 picks, and they win. The gun skill is still heavily favoring Entropy, despite that brief second win that Team Black experienced in the midpoint of this map. It's now just swung right back into Entropy's favor. They isolate those 1v1s, and they get it down to a 2v2, and that puts so much pressure on the attack, as they now have to... Well, they have to deal with the mental effects, first off, of losing that man count advantage, and they still have to pressure site without, like, their key players. So you see them going for these more aggressive picks. That nade through the hatch gets shut down by the player in Freezer, and it's left. And then you have the Madrino, I assume, on IQ, left alone in prep. He has to find some way into sight to win that 1v2 as time began to dwindle down. And Entropy realize this. They hold their crossfire well. One engages, the other goes, shoots him through the window. Just perfectly played from Entropy. In a really bad situation, shows their composure. They get through it well.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, that is...
Attackers objective is to defuse the bomb.
Now it's an aggressive run out from Exa. Did he even find the drone in the end?
Sure.
Well,
Doesn't even matter,
nevertheless,
Legoman's down.
Koala finds Legoman. That's the aggressive Ash player that we've seen be that tip of the spear for Team Black before. And they lose it out.
Yeah, it's just the aggression. Entropy. They've been so good at this. They've been so good at isolating the aggression, but also responding with their own. And
They're beating Team Black at their own game now at this point.
They've still not coyed onto this. And it's quite sad, really, to see that such a high sort of gun skill team isn't getting a chance to use that gun skill because they're not anticipating this aggression that has been used time and time again by Entropy.
Yeah, the Clutch drone does claim the Electric Claw, which means that that breach will get opened up. Enti does find himself downstairs. Still, Exa is there to support if necessary. Madrino trying to find this kill. The revive comes through. No kills found for the side of Team Black just yet. As I say that, Madrino finally finds a connection onto Exa, taken down to about 20 HP, but Enti is on about that HP as well as Hatsi now finds himself down to the C4 on the castle barricade, going to be ineffectual. And now it's a 2 versus 4 again. Madrino with a triple, but gets shut down by Koala. We might just see another clutch here from the side of Entropy as Koala finds 2. Tatters is down as well, and it's now all on Kamikaze to try and salvage the series, and he's going to find 1. And now
That's quite an early
breathe.
quit there.
Koala
It's not over yet.
just hiding behind Timber. And now the tension rising. Kamikaze, the weight of the game on their fingers. The series win was just beyond the horizon, just in grasp, but it could just be taken away. HP advantage is on the side of Team Black here. 50 seconds, still plenty of time, but there's just no information, no intel. They don't know where each other are. The vault through might be heard. Koala's playing on this tight angle. He's going to try and pre-fire. Doesn't find it. And the series stays alive just for one more round.
But I
Team
think
Black now on to 4.
despite that high tension, very tense situation, we might have to have a pause because I did see a player from Team Black leave, and from the looks of it, we are missing a player, so there's going to be, I think, a slight pause.
I have no idea.
No pause. I've heard no pause, so...
Oh, no.
Or pause. Okay,
Comes through.
we are getting a pause for this final player to come in. Someone perhaps, maybe a bit of lack of faith in Kamikaze there. Didn't realize he'd clutch it out, but
Yeah,
fair play to him.
1v2 to save the match, possibly, for Team Black.
It was looking like it was Entropy's favor. They had a cam on Diffuser.
Yeah.
They had those 2 players up. The Maestro wasn't quite aware that he'd rotated all the way around Newbout. Gets a free kill as Maestro just isn't looking in Kamikaze's direction. Then that vault nearly gives away his position. I wasn't too sure if the Jaeger noticed him. We're seeing more players leaving as I think it's a rehost now.
Yeah.
So I think we're coming back onto caster cams.
We're here again. We get to see our beautiful faces.
Hello.
Hello, we're back.
We're doing a part 3. We saw
Part
how
3.
successful this third map
There you
was,
go.
so we're splitting them into 3 parts.
We leave on a cliffhanger again.
But okay, so we can talk about Kamikaze there. Kamikaze had a brilliant 1v2, but
Yeah.
Madrino, the shots he was hitting on that round in such a
unbelievable.
high tension scenario, their team was up against the ropes. You're down a man to begin with. It's just so much pressure on his shoulders.
Yeah.
But he just hit 3 nasty shots, completely shut down that defense. And if it wasn't for the heroics from Koala on that pixel angle, showing why it's called pixel, we don't see a lot of people hold that deep angle anymore in favor of the shield, but he holds that deep pixel angle into Cigar Shop. He gets that pick. Another kill comes out from Cocktail, and they even it up, and we get put in that 1v2 situation. So heroics from both teams that round.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to wait for the admin decision to come through. In the meantime, we are just going to throw it to another quick break. It's another cliffhanger. We'll see you for part 3 of Cafe Dostoevsky. It's ridiculous. We'll see you in a few.
In a few. And we're back for part 3 of the highly anticipated Cafe Dostoevsky.
Oh
Map
boy.
3 of this series. We've had 2 rehosts. Let's hope we don't get a third, but currently 6-4 in favor of Entropy. They had a dominant first map. They were a little bit quiet in that second map, but now they've really turned on the gas when they need it most here on Cafe.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it's feeling a little bit hard to keep in this game. I think both the teams aren't necessarily going to be in the zone, so to speak, particularly, you know, coming out of 2 rehosts, there's going to be a bit of fatigue maybe starting to come through as the adrenaline drops. And yeah, this is really going to be a test of what these teams can do when... Okay. I thought my internet had dropped out there again, but I think am I still here?
I think we're good. I think we're good. Please, no more tech issues, please.
Please.
We've had enough. Okay, so once again, this reading site being defended. Last time we saw it, it was an attacking win for Team Black, which was then reverted due to a skin protest, which then became a rush for Team Black, which was shut down in fairly dominant fashion by Entropy. So it's going to be interesting to see how this round plays out.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen that. Well, once we saw it get properly tested, it was quite a dominant win for the side of Team Black due to the heroics from Madrino on that IQ. Obviously,
and
then we had that rush.
as well.
We had that rush, which didn't go very well for them at all.
No.
So hopefully we're going to be seeing more of that first round performance from them rather than that rush. Obviously, we've not got a rush yet. We're kind of outside that time zone for the rush. We're entering that second minute now, and everything is still very quiet around the site.
Yeah, we are going to reading yet again, and NT nearly caught out on the white window, but does manage to just dip away those final moments. Lego Man, aggressive, very much so inside a cigar lounge. Obviously, the site is on that second floor, but really trying to make sure that the player inside of barback storage gets caught out. Madrino punishes on to Koala, but the aggression is denied as Hattie finds 2 massive picks on the top floor. Possibility to get a third with the diffuser down, but no, caught out by, I think that's Tatters. NT is just there to assist, but Tatters does come through and collect. So 3 versus 3. After a very scrappy second minute, we're starting to come through here into the final minute. It's kind of been nicely separated into thirds this round.
Absolutely. Now the attack are really focusing in on this execute. They have nearly all the control they need. They still have to dislodge NT from this cocktail position, and he's not wanting to go out without a fight. He's got his magnets around. Tatters wants to go for a more of a wide angle. And just to say that Xe comes in to support. 3 versus 2 series on the line. Tatters moves in. He's finally found that ingress into cocktail, but he can't really start ripping on that floor until they're properly sure that the defense has left it. That call seems to have come through as Tatters starts ripping up the floor, and they can get these post-plant angles down, but the case is on the floor, and it's only 2 of them. And if they go for this plant, one of either Tatters or Kamikaze will be stuck in an effective 1 versus 3. NT is still close on the hatch, so a hatch drop seems to be out of the question. Xe holding white stairs. There's comparatively few avenues for them to go in. They just seem like they want to send it. Going for kills through the library door. Kamikaze goes for up top. But there's no vertical cover. Tatters opts to choose to just go for this horizontal cover. He gets 1. Kamikaze gets down. He can't find the second. Tatters goes around. He needs to relocate. His position was known. Tatters now going down that red corridor as Xe has that diffuser control. NT above. Vertical is in firm control of the defense.
There's no time.
This retake from Tatters. There's no time. Defense win. And another group stage Titan is sent down to the lower bracket. Entropy with quite a shaky 2-1 victory send Team Black down to that lower bracket.
What a round to close things out. Exa just gets on the diffuser just in the nick of time, and Tatters Sledge is a bit slower than he used to be, and well, gets not able to just swing in the time needed, especially NT dropping down, making sure that you had that cover there, crucial for that round win. So no clutch coming through from Team Black, and well, it might have been a bit of a sluggish end,
Yeah.
you know, in those final few rounds.
We got
It's
through
been
it.
a high action series, you know. Let's look back all the way to Clubhouse. You know, we said, and even after Oregon, we said Team Black might take it, but just wasn't to be.
Yeah, Entropy finally regained their footing in that last round, in that last map. Cafe, it started off well for them. Team Black looked to be making that comeback, but that first rehost just stunted all momentum. And after that second one, they were out of it. Entropy just snapped that Cafe up right from underneath Team Black, and they win the series, taking Team Black down to the lower bracket. It's not over for Team Black, as we know. Lower bracket, you can still make a run through there, but it's so much more difficult. There's more maps to play, more strats to show. So even when you do get to that grand final, your opposing team just has a wealth of knowledge to use against you.
Yeah, well, when they go down, they're going to be facing Penta in what seems like a trend. Another Group B match, another Group B rematch. So in that lower bracket, Penta are going to be the opponent that Team Black faced. It was a 7-2 victory in the group stage on Bank for Team Black, but Penta, they won every one of their other games. So, you know, looking at that, especially as Penta coming off of a win in that lower bracket, obviously they did lose to Molotov Gang in the first round. They at least have a bit of momentum on their side.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, anything can happen in a match of Siege. We were caught thinking that Team Black would win this, but Entropy came through, won it out, so it's not a done deal. They can certainly find a victory against Penta. They've got this, they've sort of similar trend we've seen. They've finally got this experience in a best of 3 setting this season, so they're kind of on equal footing with Penta in terms of that. But there's only really one way to answer that. We'll just have to see when that lower bracket round comes next week.
Yeah, so without further ado, that's it from us here at ESA Season Cup for today. Join us for our next stream on Sunday when Villains take on E-Wave Esports. In the meantime, I've been Uncooked Pasta. I've been joined by Poobel to that side of me, I believe.
Hello, I'm here.
Just made sure I get the right side. We've had Chamberine being our wonderful, wonderful observer and spectator for today, and obviously a hot next on the production. It's been a wonderful time for this stream, and it's now, unfortunately, the end of it. We'll see you on Sunday for another pretty cool match.
Bye-bye.